Let's get it.
Yeah, you're listening to the Average Jos, things you think you don't care about. It's America's fastest growing podcast, so just sit back and relax. We got the Average Joe Boo and the Average Joe. We got the mic set up in the studio. Gonna entertain ya, nobody can blame ya. Spending all of your time listening to the Average Joes. We're gonna talk about something that you think you don't care about. We're gonna talk about something that you think you don't care about. Oh yeah.
Average Joe's Media,
The podcast, things you think you don't care about,
featuring the Average Joe.
and the Average Joe Boo.
It's in the game.
Well, that's fair.
I've heard it both ways.
Keep it clean. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Average Joe's Media. I'm the Average Joe Boo.
I am the Average Joe.
And this is Average Joe's Media, presented by the Gingrich Group.
The Gingrich Group.
Gingrich Group, where you need to go when you want a house.
I gotta tell you what, if you're an American, or if you're not an American, but you say, I want to have the American dream, I want to be a homeowner, you need to call Mr. John Jacobus,
Absolutely.
the Gingrich Group, because they'll help you get a house.
He will.
They want to keep you informed.
Absolutely.
They want to keep you informed.
And you know, the best way to call him,
The best way to call him?
actually using his phone number.
Yes, or you can hit him on social media.
You really could.
You can email him.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or you could just say, hey, just call out into the world and John will hear you.
That's right. So if you
You
need a
said,
house,
"John,
if you
I
need a house, you want to buy a house, you want to sell a house, or if you want to actually make money selling houses,
I gotta tell you what.
you need to give the Gingrich Group a call.
You
Talk
do.
to John Jacobus. Tell him the Average Joe's Media sent you.
Yes, sir.
972-754-0361. I'll say it again just in case you didn't hear it. 972-754-0361. Or
John at thegingrichgroup.com
or visit his website.
www.thegingrichgroup.com.
That's absolutely right. So, Joe, what are we talking about today?
We are going to talk about gender equality in sports.
Is that right?
We are.
Gender equality in sports.
Yep. So equal but different?
Equal but different. I mean, what are we talking about? Are we talking about just any and all sports? Are we talking about professional sports? Are we talking about just your average Monday softball league? What are we talking about?
Well, I think we're going to center the conversation a little bit around professional sports and the national dialogue, if you will, that has started recently with Miss Carly Lloyd trying to try out for an NFL football team to be a place kicker.
Oh, yeah? Okay, that
and
sounds
so
good.
we can dive into a little bit of the different veins of that, as far as the number of youth sports that are trying to emerge with co-ed versions.
Right.
There's just so much to talk about.
Okay.
I'm excited. Are you excited?
I think I'm pretty excited. And you know who else I think is excited? I think our special guest, Dezi Ramirez. Dezi, how you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Good. We're glad to have you. So, Des, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I work with Joey, and I moved here about, 4 months ago. And so I play sports. And in high school, I played volleyball, basketball, and softball. And I was in varsity for, 3-4 years.
Okay.
Just as long as you didn't say 5.
I mean, 3 or 4 is as many as
That's
you
good. Let's say 5. Yes,
Well, I was 4 years in volleyball.
Okay.
And in softball, and then basketball was in 3 years.
Oh, okay. I see what you. Okay, so she just didn't specify the first time, but in certain sports it was 3 or 4, depending on the sport.
Exactly. And
Okay, good.
you've continued to be on the softball scene, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Okay.
played college ball, and I played for 3 years. I didn't play my last year.
Okay. What school?
I went to EPCC. It's a Division I JUCO, and then I went to North Carolina. I went to HBCU, which is a historical black college, and that's a Division I. And yeah, I played out there.
Okay.
Awesome. I still, every time I get to talk to Des about anything, I always am equally fascinated and feel blessed to get a chance to work with someone as immensely talented as you. And I mean, there's so many things. Like last episode, you were on with us when we were doing trivia.
Yeah.
We found out that you've directed music videos.
Yes.
I mean, there's nothing that you haven't done epically awesome. And you're also extremely patient because we've had like an hour and a half of prep here.
Yeah.
And she sat here poised, very patient with us as we're fumbling through all of our fun stuff.
Absolutely, she did.
And she probably could have done what we did in an hour. She probably could have done it in 5 minutes.
That's probably. What do you think about
probably
that?
did 5
What do you think about it? Are you in agreement with that one?
No.
Hashtag she's humble.
She could have done that. She could
She's
have done
humble too. She's humble too.
it. Okay, so Joe,
Yes, sir.
tell me a little bit what's new and what's with the Facebook updates today?
Well, let's see here. We got fantasy football updates. This just in, we have a league.
Do we?
We have a league.
Okay.
So shout out to Jordan Holiday. You know, we love friends, and we love friends that help us accomplish things.
Yes,
Especially
that's true.
when we're juggling a lot and we're failing miserably at it. So Jordan set up the league on ESPN.
Okay.
So we got Jordan, we got Terry Barker and his dad, also named Terry Barker.
And his dad.
Yeah, so I'm
Okay, great.
thinking that they should call the team Terry Squared.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Oh
Probably
no,
not.
it's okay. So both of them are doing one team.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
going to co-manage.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I thought it was two different teams.
It's T. Barker,
Okay.
a.k.a. Tizzle,
Okay.
and his dad.
Okay,
the
that's
original
fair.
Tizzle.
That's fair.
It's going to be great. Long story, but we'll get to that in some podcast about that.
absolutely.
But then we got, I think, John is going to be on. And then I haven't heard confirmation, but Robert originally said he was down too.
Yep.
And, of course, both of us. I think to round out to an 8-team league, unless we have a flood of people wanting to join us here at the last minute, I think the average Kelly's going to be on.
Yeah.
And then I think I'm going to let the boys co-manage a team as well. So we're going to,
Yeah.
a lot of people have been asking about the draft. Check the feed. We're going to try to do the draft tomorrow. We're trying to iron down a time, but we're really excited about the inaugural fantasy football league.
Absolutely. So, Des, fantasy football, anything you're interested in?
No.
No. Okay. Well, we appreciate your honesty and moving on, Joe.
Well, we were going to invite you,
Sorry.
but
There you
it's
go.
okay. It's okay.
No,
We'll
shot
find
down.
something else.
If it's not the Cowboys team, I just no.
You're just not
Well,
interested.
you could draft all Cowboys if you really
Yeah.
wanted to. I mean, you
I
know.
would do that, but no.
I don't know I don't know how successful you'd be. I mean, that's an experiment type of thing.
Well,
Maybe I'll do that.
I'm missing a work league draft right now, and I just checked in on it, and apparently I'm getting a lot of Cowboys. So I don't know if that was by plan or just by.
You are going to get
Yeah.
a lot of Cowboys. That's
I'm
fair.
probably gonna. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
So, Joe, is there anything else in Facebook history and Average Joe's media you need to check out our Facebook in order to get updates on this?
Well, I tell you what, some upcoming stuff that's coming up here is
upcoming
next
stuff.
Saturday.
Upcoming stuff.
Upcoming
yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Upcoming stuff.
updates. You know,
Upcoming stuff.
Yeah.
Updates.
So
Upcoming stuff.
exactly. You know, we're just gonna repeat each other all day.
100%.
It's gonna be so much fun. Best podcast of the year. We're gonna have Chris Moyer on, aka Superfan, on next Saturday to have a little sales talk. It's gonna be really great. We're really excited, and I gotta check the numbers, but this might be his 5th time. And if it is, then
That'd be his 5th episode? His
I
fifth
think
guest appearance?
possibly. It might be 4. He's on right now, so I'm just going to wait for him to update us and correct us and tell us what number it's actually going to be. But we might be having to get that 5-timers robe ready.
Okay. We can do that.
So I might have to do some shopping this week.
100%.
And then, so that's pretty much all the updates we have right now, other than the fact that we are, again, so very happy and thankful for the support we received last week, or earlier this past week, the Flying Saucer Disney Trivia Night.
Oh, yeah. So
mean-
we tanked on the trivia.
We did tank on the trivia,
Yeah,
but you know what
absolutely.
we didn't tank on? Growing the Average Joe's world.
Grow the show.
We
Grow the show.
hashtag grow the show. We spread the good word that is Average Joe's Media, and to about 300 people in a day.
It was pretty close to 300 people. We started out about 1370, and then we ended up we're right at about 1680 right now. And so from Tuesday to Saturday, 300 people. That's a lot of people. That's good. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for your support. Hopefully you like what you hear. Hopefully you like what you see now that we're doing Facebook Live all the time.
I'm saying what?
And keep it going. Keep sending those invites. Keep giving a shout out to the average Alan Walka Flocka. I mean, appreciate you being on.
Always.
And, I always appreciate Alan.
We
And
appreciate
so-
him greatly.
Absolutely.
I did have somebody ask us real quick though, like you're getting back into school and lots of stuff going on, and they love the Facebook Live, but how else can they get a hold of us? And
Yeah.
so we will share later today our link to the, was it called the account tree?
Linktree.
Linktree that'll allow you to easily see where we're at on all types of social media, streaming media, all platforms, our website, et cetera, and so forth. Because if you want to be dialed in to Average Joe's, we want you to be.
If you want to be dialed in, we want you to be dialed in.
We want you to be. It's important to us.
I went to a Buc-ee's the other day, and one of the attendants said, "Average Joe's Media, what's that?" I was wearing my T-shirt. I told him, he said, "We're definitely going to give you a listen."
You said it's my fourth child.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what I tell people.
It pretty much is. It pretty much is.
It's our little baby.
So, Des, we missed you at trivia this week. This past week.
I think that's why we lost.
I think it is too. I mean,
I think that's why we lost.
I'm fairly certain that she knew some Disney stuff.
I think she would have known some Disney
She
stuff.
would have known some.
Are you familiar with Mulan?
Yes.
Okay, well, half the questions were Mulan, and we didn't know any of them.
Yeah. So
the Eddie Murphy one was, I think, the only one we knew.
Yeah, well, that's fair. And then I guessed Ho Chi Minh on one of them. I don't know. Is that not a name?
I think that's a reference to something Vietnamish.
Maybe.
Not China.
I did not know that. I did not know that. I feel like maybe there's a bit of a slip there. A bit of a PC slip. I'm not sure.
Well, we do try to keep it clean here.
That's fair.
And you know what? I've heard it both ways is equally as fair.
Yeah. You know what? One thing I really love the way that you adjusted your seat and your camera, and now it's going to mess up everything we just took an hour and a half to set up.
I don't think it is.
I just want you to know that I love you.
I don't think it is. Show the world what we're looking at later, and we'll see.
We'll show it. And so, anyways,
if you remember which button to push.
Yeah, we'll try to figure out.
See, look!
Look at
it
you.
looks fine.
Wow. Okay, that's
fine.
Good. Well done, Joe.
I tell people,
I doubted you.
Not my first rodeo.
Well, I kind of feel like it is. So, so Des, into the world of women in sports. Okay, we have professional women's basketball. We have Olympic women's sports. I'm talking. There's all kinds of sports. Clearly, there's the archeries and the skiing and all that stuff.
Badminton.
But whenever we're talking about team sport, I think team sports is ultimately what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So, how do you feel? How do you feel about women trying to participate in predominantly a man's sport like football, baseball? You know what? Even if they wanted to go into the NBA, how do you feel about that?
I feel that women always have to prove themselves. That's the number one thing, is that we always have to prove that we're worthy of playing. Right. One, and then we have to, really work at it and stick with it and show people that, we're talented. We can stick with the boys. We can play with the boys.
Absolutely.
So, in your opinion, is it more important to have opportunities for women to professionally play all sports that men play, but in their own league, or you think it should just be across the board? We don't need a men's and a women's league. Both should be able to compete at the same level, in this, the same division, the same world,
at the same time on the same field.
Well, yes. I mean, it is different. So, it's different when you're playing with an all men's team and an all women's team, and it brings out something different within people. But then there's also that co-ed effect, which a lot of people should do that, because it brings out another side to people.
So when I was growing up playing sports, I consider myself to be fortunate from the standpoint that I played for a football league in 7th grade outside of school. Yeah. And there was a girl who wanted to always play football, and so she played football. So it was a really great experience. Didn't have a problem with it. And then for a couple of years in baseball, we had a couple different teams where girls played baseball as well. Yeah. And it was really great. And then my boys even have played competitive soccer, and both groups had girls that also played on the team. I'd say the biggest difference for me just in that experience is that because it wasn't a truly co-ed team playing other co-ed teams, I did feel like the girls were targeted more. In fact, in the football team, one of them was actually, there was like illegal play that she ended up breaking her arm, Yeah. But in soccer, baseball is less of a contact sport. So I think it was much easier for the girl to demonstrate her skill and her ability and everything, because it wasn't just about brute force or anything, And,
well, it's still dangerous. It's still dangerous.
Oh, for sure.
For So I play softball, and I play on a women's team and on a co-ed team. And we do have for slow pitch. So in a competitive league, there's people that know how to hit, and then there's people that don't know how to hit. I'm one of those that knows how to place the ball. And then there's men that know how to place the ball too. So what happens is a lot of these guys, when they have it out for the girls, and it's everywhere, they want to hit a girl, for instance, and they know how to place it, and they can hit it to one of the women, and yeah, they can, get injured or whatever. But there's also women that play just as good or even better than men.
Right.
And I'm also in that category too. I can hit hard,
Yeah,
just
you
as
are.
hard.
Yeah, you can.
I mean,
Get
we've
it.
already covered that.
Get
She's
it.
exceptional at everything.
Absolutely.
I can hit just as hard or harder than most of the men that play. And so I play outfield, and of course, the men that, they don't like that I kind of bruise their ego. So they hit to me thinking, you know what, I'm going to see if this girl can really play ball. And they hit to me, and there I go catching the ball. And I'm always having to protect myself, and I always have to also prove myself too.
Right.
And it's everywhere. It's everywhere you go. But it doesn't matter what sport, softball, basketball, doesn't matter. There's always men that, that they don't feel comfortable with playing with women, or they, it's an ego thing. Like, a woman can outshine them sometimes, and they want to bring you down to earth. Like, hey, you need to stay a female, and you need to be gentle, and you don't need to play like a man.
So ultimately, this conversation is based around the dominance of the male ego.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Which, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with. There is a ton of men out there that think men have jobs built for men and women have jobs built for women. I mean, it's prevalent in a lot of relationship situations where I'm going to take the trash out, I'm going to do this because I'm a man, and you're going to clean the house, you're going to do the laundry because you're a woman. I mean, that mentality is very rampant in our society, I would believe, and I would think it transposes itself into sports.
Yeah,
So
it does.
I would like to shout out to everybody. I can't name them all right now, but everybody that replied to my post, I appreciate you. But one post, James Jolly, appreciate you for giving us your opinion.
Shout out to James.
He concludes that he says that if the opportunity is out there, then the woman should have the opportunity. But he addressed it from the perspective of how he might worry about it, from whether it's biological differences, whether it's just speed, but the difference in speed between typically that athletic of a man versus that athletic of a woman, size differences in contact sports, and his worry was majorly about serious injury because of that difference or those differences. So how would you speak to that?
Yeah. Women get injured all the time.
Sure. Well, I mean, men do too.
Yes.
Ultimately.
But, I mean, I really can't. So there wasn't one moment where I got injured really bad because of somebody else.
Right. A lot of injuries a lot of them are self-inflicted. It's because you turned at a moment, and if you wouldn't have turned, you wouldn't have gotten injured.
Yeah.
Yes, was there another force coming at you? Absolutely. But a lot of it is your reaction most of the time.
I got to tell you, I was really, really happy with a lot of the responses on the different posts about this, pre-gaming it a little bit, getting different people's takes. And I thought one of the interesting perspectives was just the perspective of a dad and a mom of a daughter. Mm-hmm. So we have several dads out there, shout out. I think Alan had some great perspective, given that he's, his little one is playing right now, playing soccer and trying to push herself. And then Kendra had some great perspective too, also being a mom of a daughter. And for us, I think our perspective with our daughters is man, we don't want to tell our daughters no. You know, like if my daughter, because this sparked a really big debate in the car with the kids on the way to school one morning. And the boys had their different opinions, and my oldest was like, girls could get hurt, it's not safe, blah, 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 blah. I was like, and I get those concerns. I said, but, you know, as like if your sister wants to do anything, I'm going to support her. I'm never going to tell her she can't do something because she's a girl or, you know, a woman. I want to empower her to do this, that, and the other. And I think some of Kendra's perspective is not just the whole supporting if your daughter wants to, but like as a mother, she wants to like propel her daughter and to ingrain in her daughter that she can want to do anything she wants. You know what I mean? Like
She
there's
can
no
want to do anything. She
yeah.
wants
So I'm
to do.
fumbling on my words a little bit.
Yeah,
You
no,
know.
that's
So
okay.
shout
I
out
like
to Morning Podcast, but.
It's now the afternoon. Let's
Well,
just,
I mean, technically it's
I mean,
11:56
okay,
on my clock, so
okay.
it's not
it's
quite
now.
the noon
It's no
yet.
longer truly
Not quite
morning.
the noon yet. Not
okay?
quite the noon yet. But anyways, that really was annoying. Apologies. I don't know how many times I said noon, but I completely lost my train of thought here.
Yeah, if your daughter wants to do something,
Exactly.
she should be able to get to want.
So it appeared as though that a mother's perspective was they're trying to ingrain in their daughter that they can do anything they want to do.
Absolutely, as well they should.
Proactively,
Yeah,
as
as well they
opposed
should.
to responsively. So,
So let me speak on that.
yes.
Yes, girls should be able to, and society should let them, though. I had plenty of times where umpires or referees come and tell me, you know what, you're too rough. You gotta calm it down a little bit.
Nice.
And I'm like, because I play like a dude. Is that the reason why?
Yes, 100%.
And if you want equality in this world, you're gonna have to take the good in with the bad, right? And when I would play in high school, I would not get the opportunity to flourish or to play like a guy, as they would say, because they wanted me not to be so rough with the women. I would shine in other ways. In basketball, I would, the thing was I would anticipate when the ball was being thrown. So I would have a lot of steals, or I would, block shots. And that was my thing. And that's what I had to really capitalize on. And I couldn't just really flourish as a ball player.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wasn't that person that, you know what, she's just a good player. No, she's a good female athlete. And I didn't want to be categorized as a female athlete. I wanted to be categorized as a good player because I could keep up with the guys.
So you felt the qualification of female in front of the word athlete diminished
Yeah.
how well you actually could produce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to that point, we have ultimately both sides of the coin. Some said totally against it.
Yeah.
Right. Totally against it. There's men's teams, there's women's teams. Keep them separate. Women against women, men against men. And then we have others that said if they can play, then they play. If they if the opportunity exists for them to be able to play, they should be able to get to play. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if there is the creation of a woman's sport that was traditionally or dominantly or predominantly men, like basketball, so the NBA was created and then the WNBA was created.
Yeah.
Should women first play in the WNBA before trying to go into the NBA? Or should it even matter just because that there are a men's team and a women's team? Should it matter where they try out or where they go
shouldn't.
first?
It honestly shouldn't.
Okay.
Women can be just as good or better than men, and I think it's just the society just does not want to bridge that gap.
Yeah. Okay.
You
I
know.
agree with that.
What was the movie that recently came out that had Emma Stone and Steve Carell in it? It was based on a true story in the 70s about two tennis players.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Are you familiar with that?
No.
Anybody on Facebook familiar with it? It was I remember watching parts of it. It was a great movie, but I just was thinking it was very interesting that so several decades ago, this type of conversation came up over something like tennis. And it was kind of an epic showdown to see whether who was better, men or women, or this, that, and the other. And I think not soccer, but tennis has evolved because they actually do have co-ed men's and women's doubles matches that compete. Wimbledon, all the other the different levels of sports. But I've always wondered why. Like, for example, there's a PGA and an LPGA. I've never understood why. A battle of the sexes. Thank you, Debbie. Also, just one quick shout out. It's pretty cool now that we've been doing this long enough that our fans and our subscribers on Facebook now have categories. So anytime John or Debbie comments on something, it has a little flag next to it that says milestone follower. So congratulations to our milestone followers. That's
we appreciate
it's pretty
that.
neat.
I can't see that, but I appreciate that you see that.
Well, that's what I'm your eyes, bud.
Oh, well, okay.
You know what I mean? I see what you see what I see.
Moving on.
Moving
on.
We digress.
Just a
Anyways,
touch.
Anywho, is that the one thing I said?
Anywho.
But anyway, so why do we have, it's just never made sense to me. The NBA, again, I think there's been plenty of WNBA players that have proven they could hang with the best of the male NBA players.
Yeah.
And I'd say the same thing with soccer. You have the MLS, and then you have the women's league version of MLS. And so I'm perplexed by it. Same thing with softball. And I ask you this because you play softball.
Yeah.
Why do women play softball as opposed to baseball?
That's a solid question.
You know what I mean? Like, why isn't baseball for girls too? Like, I've never understood that. Why should there be an oversized ball thrown underhanded? Why?
Well,
why isn't it just a regular?
Well, that's a
regular
good
baseball?
point. I mean, because the WNBA, the basket's not a smaller basket or bigger basket, and
Same
a
thing
bigger
with soccer.
ball, right? Soccer ball, same size ball,
Golf, tennis,
Yeah.
it's all universal the same.
right? Softball and baseball, that crossover was a little different.
Because I've always thought of it as and again, playing a girl with baseball and stuff, I've just never understood why.
I feel like, to me, I feel like it's a quicker sport as opposed to baseball. So it's quick plays. It's a quicker reaction time. Not knocking on baseball, but I feel like you have
Ooh,
more
this is
of
interesting.
more
This
of a
is
reaction
very interesting.
time when you play baseball as opposed to softball, because softball you're closer, and so you have that split second when you're at third base, and you have to have quick hands to catch that ball.
Yeah.
Are the distances between everything small? I mean, is the field smaller?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a shorter distance,
Yes.
so you don't have that much of a reaction time. If the ball's coming up to you, if you're
Okay, well that makes sense from that perspective then.
Yeah. So in baseball, it's 90 feet bases, and in softball, it's 60, I believe.
So
And then the pitching, the mound,
the mound.
is like in the 40s in terms of feet, and in baseball, it's 66.
Right.
So I mean, but also you cannot throw a softball as hard as you can throw a baseball, unless the distances are shorter. And also, the softball will not travel as fast off of the bat unless the
no,
distances
right.
are
I
shorter.
just always wondered if it was viewed as softball's creation with smaller, you know what I mean, smaller distances
Yeah.
and created that way. Was it done because of a viewpoint that the female body was not able to physically perform the way
I
the
don't-
male body did?
I
I just
don't
didn't know
think
if it
so.
was like, if everybody's on the same page with softball's great, we like softball, like you're saying, softball.
Yeah.
No offense to baseball, but softball's kind of superior. Like, that's awesome. Because I've always just wondered, did people who played softball feel diminished? Like, I should be able to play baseball. I want to play baseball.
Well, of course, women feel like, hey, we can keep up with the guys, but of course,
Like maybe there should be like women's. I mean, if women want to play baseball, have
Yeah.
baseball opportunities.
Go nuts. So
Definitely.
So when I was in high school, I mean, let's face it, I went over to the softball practice all the time. It was not because I liked softball; it was because I liked who was playing. But the
Shout out to
coach,
Coach Hayes,
that's right, Coach Hayes let me get up there. And,
best math teacher ever.
well, okay, great. I never had her in class. So.
Well, I had her class, but she never made me go. So it was.
Okay. She's still
Shout out
teaching.
to math model.
She's still teaching, so maybe you ought to not say
I mean,
that out loud too
I
much.
turned my assignments in,
Oh, I
and,
see. Okay, good.
So on a side note, real quick, just we're shouting out to Coach Hayes. She'd probably be really happy to know that one of her star pitcher's daughter, my niece, is now following her mom's footsteps and playing softball.
Oh, nice. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, so I went over to practice, and I was flirting with some of the girls, and I told
Shocker.
them. Yeah, it's just,
Right.
it is what it is.
That's fair.
I come by it honestly. So, whenever,
Everyone has their talents.
as we were joking around, as I was flirting with them and stuff, they said you would strike out on 3 people. You know, the conversation was like, oh, this is too easy.
Yeah.
You know, I told them the ball is twice the size of a baseball or more, and then the bat is so stinking light, you know, that this is the easiest thing in the world. And they were like, well, why don't you get up there and try it? And Coach Hayes let me, and
Yeah.
they had a pitching machine up there. And first 2 pitches, total whiff. Total whiff. And I was like, okay, maybe this isn't that easy. But then on the 3rd pitch, in both these sports, you get 3 strikes before you're out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm familiar with that much, at least.
Right. Okay. Good. So I had 3 pitches, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told them, I mean, I will not strike out. 3rd pitch, home run. And I was like, see, told you, easy. Trotted around the bases during their practice.
And this was a pitching machine?
Yeah, it was a
he was,
Yeah.
he was
It's
also,
totally
he was also
different.
modest.
Yeah.
It was totally different.
Completely humble.
But we had this, we had this little bet or, wager or pride, whatever it was. I'm right, you're wrong. I can do this and all this other stuff. And so, but to the situational credit, they were hitting off the pitching machine too.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I can do this.
Well, sorry to bust your bubble, but a pitching machine is more predictable than an actual pitcher.
Oh,
You know-
So you're
no,
talking.
no.
So you're talking
I
an
know
actual
that.
pitcher that can
No.
tell you, I will strike
Well,
you
Am
out.
I
Even
hearing?
after
Hold on.
all
Am I
those
hearing
years.
something here? I'm thinking that we need to do a remote.
Yeah, we need
We need to go-
a
we need-
Facebook Live video
Yes.
softball
Yes.
challenge.
Yes, we do. I'm
Can
thinking
can you still fast pitch?
I still can.
Okay.
I
Well,
still
then,
can.
I mean,
I've been,
I
you know
will-
what? I'm not gonna lie. I've
I
been
will
out of
accept
practice
that
for a while,
challenge.
but you know what? It doesn't take me long.
I will
to-
put, because you've been out of practice, I'll put
You
on
know.
all the body armor possible just in case you're a
That
little
is
wild.
completely fair.
And,
I don't know the last time I hit a ball.
Well, so Lakeview High School, right here, the softball field is. I'm not going to say we're supposed to get on it, but I think we probably could.
Okay, or
Yeah.
or right down the way,
you know,
Rowlett High
yeah,
School.
I mean, we could. I do work there.
You
but
do work there.
see,
Shout
but
out to
at
the
this
Eagles.
house. We could walk over there.
Oh,
We
okay,
would
I
have
see
to
what you're
drive to Rowlett. I could. Get
I'm
on
not
the
climbing
Rowlett
the fence though.
That's fair.
I'm not. I'm just gonna lie.
That's fair.
I'm
But
back
no,
I'm back on my fitness journey and grind here, but I'm not scaling a chain link fence ready yet.
That's fair. So I mean,
Not-
but also to your statement's credit, I caught.
Yeah.
I was a catcher, so I saw
Okay.
basically firsthand how the pitcher could dupe a batter, regardless of
Yeah.
whether it's softball or baseball. I mean, the pitcher puts some spin on the ball, puts movement on it intentionally to deceive the batter. And,
I feel that us as women, we have more pitches to throw than the men do. And you know what?
that might be true.
My rise ball's not too shabby.
Okay. Well, see,
That's fair.
Well, but see,
that's
okay,
fair,
so-
I think, right?
so you have.
I want to see this happen.
You have-
I'm excited about this. I'm so excited about this.
Okay.
Part of me wants to see him strike out so bad.
Well,
And then I want to get up there and you completely just lob me one so that I can crank it over the fence. It'd be great.
I mean, well, first of all, I want to see that too. I want to see you get up there. And
You
and
act
try
like
to
I
hit.
wasn't a good hitter back in the day.
Well, Joe,
was.
you're no longer in 3rd grade, okay?
I played
You're-
a lot longer than 3rd grade, Holmes.
How old were you when you quit?
I was a teenager. I think it was like 6th grade.
Oh, 6th grade. I apologize. 6th grade. Sorry. I just, I felt like that's basically the same as 3rd grade. So, anyways.
You know what? I've just been resting. You know what I mean? I've just been resting. You know what I mean? I've just
fair.
been resting. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
hey, quick shout outs, real quick. Shout out to the Adam Walker. He says, "Que paso, Joes?
Hey, what's up,
Como
man?
estás, hombre?"
Oh, man. Highly Unapologetic. We appreciate you. If you haven't checked out Highly Unapologetic, the podcast,
You really need to.
I
You really
mean,
need to. And
we have we have
Adam,
another crossover event coming over with them
We do.
soon. Yeah, I
They
mean,
need to be.
hasn't been scheduled,
They need
but,
to get there. We need to
but-
get on the
but
books.
they're going to come down soon.
Yeah, and Adam, I'm still waiting for your catchphrase in Espanol because I saw your SOS Justo and I raised you.
No, you.
How do we say that again?
No.
Continuo en limpio. I said that wrong. Dad, how do I say it? You corrected me last time. How do I say it?
It's
Is it
Nintendo Lampio.
Yeah, Mantendo limpio. Yeah,
That's so much better than
so much
before.
better. Yeah.
Man, he sounds
Yeah.
like he has issues whenever he tries to say it from scratch. Oh, that's awesome. Was that about right? The second way?
Mantendo limpio.
As the resident
Expert in
Spanish
pronunciation.
speaker?
No, it's better.
It's a
It's
lot
better.
better.
Can we hear your
Can we hear you say it
Can we hear your
appropriately?
take on this?
No.
Oh, good. Okay, so she,
I'm a little shy now.
which
Like,
means-
Oh my
means
gosh,
I-
she said Latina earlier, and it was the coolest way I've ever heard it
So
said
that-
in my life.
so that means we weren't wrong if she's not going to correct us. So that's good.
So
That's
in this case, we would say SOS Justo.
SOS Justo.
SOS
Absolutely.
Justo.
Esto es.
Yes,
Es-
Yeah,
Esto
see,
es.
it sounds so much better when she
yeah,
says it.
there's a T.
It really does. And so a couple other Facebook things coming up. Yes, Mr. Barker, we are trying to get those slots filled, and I do believe that we tentatively do. So you should see that populate here pretty
You
soon.
do believe that we tentatively do.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean that was
Good.
is
if
that
you
was
are
his
not
TBD.
convinced by that statement alone, if you do not have comfort in that statement, then I don't know
you
what
should
you're
believe in
listening
that.
to.
You should believe in that. And then I do
Seriously.
agree. Everyone needs a rest day, Courtney.
That's,
Completely. Everyone needs a rest day.
that's funny. That's good stuff.
And looking forward to sleeping a lot tomorrow. And then let's see. Oh, Adam's working on one, so that's good. You know what? This would be a good time to break it up a little bit. I think we have a couple segments we need to squeeze in.
Oh yeah, we do. Okay. So
Which one we wanna do
what's on
first?
the docket? What's on the
We
docket?
want to do a little think fast.
Think fast.
Want to do think fast, or
Oh,
do
yeah.
we want to do excuse the intrusion?
Well, I mean, if you want me to be 100% honest, I did not put the think fast on here. So
Okay.
why don't we think fast another time?
Okay, we'll think fast another time, or we
Yeah.
could do this week in social media.
This week, so which one would you like?
You know what? I'm gonna let Des pick. You want to
Des.
do this week in social media first, or do you want to do excuse the intrusion?
And excuse the intrusion.
Excuse the intrusion. Okay.
All right.
So ultimately, here's what we're trying to do. We have a couple topics. We're not going to have that many, but they'll be centered around females in sports, and then
So
and-
brief discussions.
and then we'll have about 4 minutes to talk about each question or each topic or whatever that's involved. Okay, you ready for that?
Ready.
Okay.
All right, so
So
question number 1. Should female athletes and male athletes make the same money based upon just flat out equality? Or should each individual, prospectively in their professional sports, be paid comparatively to their worth as far as like what they're generating for the organization? And I'll give you like a quick example. So if a major league basketball team earns 100 times more than a major league women's basketball team, should they still be paid the same amount of money, or should they be paid comparatively the same on scale to what the league generates, this, that, and the other?
I think you basically just answered your own question, but why don't you go ahead, Des?
So
I might have done that. Not my brightest moment.
yes, women should get paid equally, but I do believe that certain people put in more work than others. So I believe in that. If you are, say, center in football, right? And you're protecting the quarterback, well, that person should be getting paid a lot of money because you're protecting the quarterback, right?
Right.
So whoever that center is, whether it's female or male, should be getting paid a lot of money.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So what about the case where the female national team, the women's national team, is arguing that they just, I mean, with this season alone, I believe is the major argument, but they were pulling in viewers that exceeded the men's viewership in their previous
And
World
they
Cup.
won a World Cup.
Yeah.
Yes, and they won. Well, aren't they like 3 out of the last 4 World Cups or something
Correct,
like that?
and they're still earning less money than the men's team, who we didn't even make it this year. Did
Yeah, I don't believe we made it into the actual tournament.
No,
you know,
we didn't.
we had the opportunity to play in games and all that stuff,
Right.
but we didn't get enough points. So, so the women were trying to make the case that they should get more money, comparable to what the men are making. So where's the disconnect? Where's the thing that is making them not get paid?
So I think the hard one on that though is that I think the women's national team is probably generating more money than the men's national team at this point, with endorsements and publicity and this, that, and the other. So you can't even.
Are they
use-
now?
I think so.
Okay, because
I mean, people talk a lot more about the women's national team than they do the men's.
well now, but they're going to start talking about the men's team more as the men's World Cup starts to come around. I mean, it's like basically every 2 years.
Right, but we're not even going to be in it. The men aren't. We not. As
Well, they didn't
men,
make the last
US
one.
team.
Have they made this one?
I don't think so.
Has that even been determined yet? I don't know if this coming one has been determined, but they didn't make the last men's World Cup, did they? I think that's the one that they didn't make, and
Maybe
then
you're
the,
right.
and
Maybe
then
you're
the
right
women.
there. Maybe you're right there.
But I guess my point is that men's soccer has been making, and this goes to the question you asked earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the question that you answered when you asked it. Men's soccer has raised more money traditionally over a longer period of time than women's soccer, and so there is more money. Let's call it in the kitty, in the pool,
Right.
to be able to distribute to men, and so. That, to me, that's where the disconnect is. Women's soccer is growing, and guess what their salaries are doing? They're growing. So I think that they will get there. I just don't think that the idea is we need to get there right now, but that's what they want. And there's a disconnect. How can you get there when you don't have the money to get there, traditionally speaking? And there's not the longevity of women's soccer that there has been the longevity of men's soccer.
A little bit related, but I wonder. I don't know the answer to this, but do women gold medal winners make as much as the men gold medal winners in the Olympics? Do they both get the equal amount for their prizes?
That's a question that I would have to look up right now. I do not know.
It's based on the medals that we get, and I think I don't know.
I mean, to me, there's no real big difference in. There's no real big difference in
Okay.
Olympic sport payout, because most
I don't think so. either.
most Olympic sports are watched consistently, regardless of if it's the men or the women, because it's a worldwide situation at that point in time.
Right. That's what I was just saying. With the World Cup payday, would it not be if we're scaling things equally in the Olympics, regardless, as far as like the World Cup goes, you'd think the same thing. So I guess I'm saying that when it comes to like the prizes for competition and stuff like that from the world standpoint, like Olympics and the World Cup and stuff, I think it should be equal.
Okay. Next question. The biggest debate about women in professional sports is hinged around kickers, women being a kicker in the NFL. There is no real debates about a woman being a lineman or a linebacker or running back or quarterback or receiver, safety. Let's go ahead and just name all the positions, right? There's no real argument there. The biggest argument is a woman kicking in the NFL right now. And maybe partly in because of the buzz of the women's national team. Okay, there are women that can kick the fire out of the ball. Okay, and so Carly Lloyd, one of the U.S. women's national team members, she kicked a 55-yard field goal at a practice with I believe it was with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Was that in the Ravens, right? It was like one of their joint practices.
It was something like that. So she kicked a 55-yard field goal, which is an impressive feat. 55 yards is a long way for a ball to be kicked. Then you have this woman who at a fan event, she kicked a field goal and then got a tryout. And then you also have Becca Longo, who was the first female kicker to get a scholarship to an NCAA school. I believe it's a Division II school. I can't remember what the school's name is. But the question is, at what point in time is the argument need to change in terms of NFL women versus particular positions in the game? Or does it need to change?
I'll just say, from my perspective, I think if there's this much controversy and concern over a woman as a kicker being injured and hurt, I can't imagine what the buzz would be if a woman tried to be a quarterback, because there's actually a handful of women who are emerging as quarterbacks in high school, and some are trying to, going into college and stuff. So I really think that's going to be the next big push, is there's going to be a really talented female quarterback who's really going to try to get themselves into the NFL.
Sure, absolutely.
But I don't think position-wise, the argument doesn't really hold up for me because people are going to be hit. It really doesn't really matter your size because you have the smaller players like the safeties, the cornerbacks, and the linebackers, this, that, and the other. They're moving a lot faster than a lineman, so you're still being hit with a tremendous amount of brute force.
Well, there's no question about that. There's no
And
question.
quarterbacks, receivers, occasionally running backs, just like a kicker, are exposed oftentimes to being hit without being able to protect themselves.
Absolutely. So ultimately, the biggest thing about a kicker being exposed is the kicker is predominantly exposed whenever if the player hits the ball first.
Right.
Right. So if the defender comes and blocks the ball, then the kicker, number one, can be hit at that point. Number two, the kicker's job is to try to stop the other team from getting the ball and picking it up and going to score any amount of points. And then if they get the ball, now they're open game for just getting demolished, right? And the kicker is, generally speaking, one of the smallest people on the field. It doesn't, man or woman, it doesn't matter. Now there's a couple where that description isn't necessarily accurate. I think Sebastian Janikowski's a pretty big dude.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
But my biggest thing is in high school sports, the kicker is normally one of the smallest guys on the field, and they don't get much bigger when they get to be 25 years old, 30 years old in the NFL. But so I believe the name is Lauren Silberman. She got that tryout, and then she kicked the ball 19 yards from a kickoff stance after she had kicked like a 40-yard field goal in that NFL fan experience thing. And so, a lot of people see that and then they want to make fun of it because what was her business out there? Why was she out there? What did she think she had that gave her the ability or the right to go out there and try out when maybe she just got lucky at the fan experience? I mean, there was a ton of people just making fun of that. I went and saw all the videos. It was funny from the perspective of they were comedians trying to get a laugh.
Right.
But it had to be completely embarrassing and belittling for her to. Yeah. But maybe she found the humor in it. She's like, "Yep, I goofed," and it was embarrassing at the time, but now it's just now I make a joke out of it too, so I can laugh along with it. But then you have when Carly Lloyd kicked that 55-yarder on a field with a holder and a snapper. She took steps 7 yards behind the ball.
Yeah, she took that a lot of steps.
She took kickoff steps to kick a field goal.
That you do not have enough time to do in a real game situation.
If anybody does that in a real game, it's getting blocked, and you might have a broken leg at that point in time. And then the other is Becca Longo. She takes steps. She takes natural field goal steps, and she kicks field goals in college games where there are athletes that might get after her, right? And she's in the mix. And there's a lot of buzz about that too. Could she be in the draft? Could some NFL team give her a shot when she gets to that point? And so I guess my question or my concern at that point in time or my wonder is none of those kicks, with the exception of the one of Becca, who is in. Are you good? No, you're good. We're on all three cameras here. Everybody got to see that.
Cameras. Well, that's my gift to everyone. I'm sorry about that.
But of all
my
three,
back was killing me. I needed to adjust my angle.
Of all three of those examples, there's only one that's actually putting that into practice. But the other two are getting more traction than she is. I had to search for that one, and are we just giving it traction because number one is Carly Lloyd, and number two, it's a girl who tried at a fan experience and then flopped, and so that video's gone viral. I mean, what's the debate at this point? Why aren't we talking about someone who's actually being successful in that endeavor? We're talking about somebody who has no real interest because she has soccer games, and then we have someone who, why not take the opportunity? If somebody calls you, if the Oakland Raiders call me up and say, "Hey, I want you to come try and kick out for us," I'm gonna be like, "Yes, sir. I'll be there in 30 minutes."
Yeah.
Even though that's unrealistic, but I will be there as soon as possible, right?
Well, I think that we're in a time where I say that we're in a time. I think throughout history you have moments where people try to push through barriers. We've seen it with people of different races. We've seen it. I mean, we've seen it with women before, with just with voting rights, the suffrage movement. We see it with people, the LGBTQ community right now. Everybody's trying to different groups of people trying to break through barriers, and I think right now with the Me Too movement and just a whole lot of things that have happened right now, I think there's a movement of women right now trying to just completely abolish, just break through any barrier that's there. They're wanting to really be trailblazers. And on one hand, I think critics. It's easy for critics to say is like, oh, well, okay, so this is just a gimmick. This is just this, that, and the other. But on the flip side of the coin, I think if you're living in a society where you feel like you're marginalized, I'm going to go ahead and support you. I think we talked about this a little bit. This is a little off topic, but I have sisters. And my sister came to me really upset one time, completely devastated because of something happened at work. And she's worked her tail off since she was in high school. She's really great at what she does. And my heart broke for her, but I had to tell her the reality of it is yeah, this is probably going to happen. Sometimes you're not going to be treated the same, and you're going to have to work harder. And I don't like it. I don't support it. I don't participate in that. I try to actively work against it as much as I can if I'm exposed to it. But it just was things just shattered. You know what I mean? Just, oh my gosh. So it's really not, this is really how it works. And it just was a unique thing to see her go through it and to have that personal experience with someone who's come up against it. So I think if there's probably a lot of women out there that want to say, hey, why can't I go do this? And I want to try to go do it. So I think from that standpoint, all the power to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
In your tenure, has there been any girls that have wanted to play football around that?
I would have to say no.
Okay.
Not that I am aware of now. Have somebody has some female gone up to the head coach and actually asked to play? Maybe. But am I aware of it? I have no idea.
Well, and it's because
happened.
being a soccer coach, you're probably exposed to the girls' soccer team and stuff like that, and soccer.
I am not opposed. I'm not exposed. I'm not exposed to the girls' soccer team. Let's just put that out there.
Okay, my bad.
I am not exposed.
Okay,
I am not exposed.
I would imagine that you guys, with all other sports, right?
Ladies and
I will say
gentlemen,
this.
let's just clarify: Coach Buchanan is not exposed.
Well, I think that goes without
the
saying.
girls' soccer
I think
team.
that goes without
Okay?
saying as we keep it clean on this podcast. I was just saying, I'm sure you have places where you guys cross over. The sports teams.
Yes.
The
I see.
organizations.
Okay.
So I could see it where if there was someone who possibly wanted to do that you'd be the person they would potentially talk to. So I was just curious if that had ever happened.
So you're saying that one of the girls might come talk to me from the girls' soccer team to try to eclipse or jump the gap of girls in football?
Yeah.
Because only a girl can be a kicker. That's what you're saying.
No, so most.
I feel like that's exactly what
I
you're
don't think
saying.
that's what I was saying. I'm saying
You're
that a
talking
lot
about
of times
soccer girls coming to talk to
Okay,
me
so
about
if
going to
soccer
football.
players-
What's the only purpose of
Okay,
a soccer
so if-
player coming to me to be in football?
Okay, well, you're the kicker coach for starters.
So you're saying that women can only be kickers?
No, I'm saying that it would make sense. I'm drawing a connection. You're
Okay, let's
you're
draw a
kicker
connection.
Coach. You're
Let's
a
draw a
kicker
connection.
coach. Let's face it, you're not a kicker coach because you coach basketball. You're a kicker coach because it makes sense for you to be a kicker coach because you're also the soccer coach. You're a specialist in sports that involve using your foot, right?
Des, I feel
So-
like he's digging his own grave at this point. You know this,
I mean,
right?
am I,
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Am I
you
right?
so much.
Am I right?
No, you're wrong, dude.
I'm okay.
You just asked if any girl at Rowlett ever in my history there has come to ask about
right.
playing football.
And then you started doing your
And
little
then you-
dance thing, and I
and
was
then
just
you
trying to
said-
qualify why I specifically asked
You
if
said
you were aware of it.
you're exposed to the girls' soccer team, and I said nope. I am not exposed.
It's killing me right now.
Okay? But then you said, I just wonder if any girls soccer players approach you about playing football. What's the only purpose a girls soccer player would come to me about playing football?
Well, I'm going to
What's the
clarify.
only-
I
can
want
you
to
answer-
clarify.
Why don't you ask my question?
That a girl,
or answer
that
my question.
that a girl
real
soccer
quick.
player can play whatever position she wants to play.
Oh.
But I was drawing the connection that I
But
could
what
see where a
position
girl.
would she play?
Well, theoretically,
What
she's-
position would she most likely try out
most
for?
soccer players, that might try out for a football team, I think statistically, we're usually going to be kickers.
So what you're saying is, you think that a girl's going to come up to me, a girl soccer player is going to come to me
I don't think
to
that's
play
what happened. I
football
was asking.
as a kicker, because that's the only thing that girls can do in football.
I think a girl can do anything she wants to do in football. I'm saying as far as where you come into this equation, you're a soccer coach.
Des, do you want to
and you're
chime
a
in at
kicker
any
coach.
point in this time? I mean, because he
Yeah,
keeps,
so
he
are
keeps
you-
saying
So-
that because I'm the kicker coach, girl soccer players are going to come up to me to be what? To be what will they be? What will they be, Joe? Kickers. Kickers.
If somebody, we're talking about women kicking in NFL.
Yes, but
And then
but
if a girl at Rowlett High School wanted to kick, right, be a kicker for the varsity football team, you would be the first person they'd go talk to.
yeah, if they
because
wanted
you're-
to be a kicker,
But I also think that
But
I
What-
don't
your
think
first
so.
question was-
I don't think so.
your first question was
you don't think they go talk to him. I mean, I wouldn't go talk to him at this point.
No.
He's so argumentative.
So
That's fair.
there's a lot of
That's fair.
factors when it comes to women, wanting to try out. Me, obviously, I tried to try out, and this was in middle school, and I had to sign a waiver.
right?
Really?
I had to sign a waiver that I can play in football. And there was another female that did try out. She made it, and she played on a football team, right, in middle school.
Maybe ask what position you wanted to play.
I wanted to be a running back. That's what I wanted to do.
Okay, good. Good.
And
So she's saying that women can play other positions than kickers.
yeah.
Good. That's fantastic. I appreciate
So
you.
I like the fact that you're
I
ignoring
needed to
completely
get-
that I just had a 5-minute conversation about women being quarterbacks, but that's okay.
No, I'm not
sorry.
ignoring it. I'm
This
not
is the part
ignoring
of the podcast where we interrupt the person talking.
This is the part of the
So that's
podcast
where
where
we argue.
you figure out you were wrong about your entire basis of your question.
Okay,
Ultimately,
that's not fair.
it is fair.
I've heard it both ways.
Exactly.
Eso no es
That's
justo.
what makes it.
Okay,
Esto.
we're gonna stop
Esto.
bantering. We're gonna stop bantering. We're
That's
gonna
fine.
let you keep talking about middle school.
Yes, I apologize.
So go after me
It's
right
okay.
back. He started it.
So I didn't
Anyways.
get the support that there was many there was many barriers that I had to overcome in order for me to play football. There's this waiver. There's the conversation that you have to have with your parents, and of course my parents did not want me to play football. They were very upset that I even came to them with a waiver. And so it's this box that society, even your family, can sometimes put on you. And so I had to pick and choose my battles. Do I really want to fight to play football, or do I want to play sports? And I wanted to play sports. So I went out for volleyball and I made it, and of course I did a really good
You
job.
rocked the house.
She crushed it.
She rocked the
She
house,
crushed
is what
it.
I'm hearing. So that's
She
good. 4
crushed
years
it.
on varsity volleyball, right?
Yeah, 4 years varsity.
So did you? Go
And
to,
she was a D1 collegiate player as well.
so you went to college for volleyball,
Were
I
you not
didn't.
listening?
I wasn't listening.
I
We
went
were
to.
dude. How many buttons do I got to
Des,
press over here?
Des, please,
How many buttons
I'm
do I got to
so
press?
sorry. I'm so sorry, but go ahead and repeat yourself and
Yeah.
talk about your prestigious
No, this is for all those.
collegiate
This is
career.
what is
and-
collegiate?
collegiate?
Okay, so this is
collegiate.
for all the people who joined who didn't hear it earlier.
Yeah, so for,
Including me.
for multiple schools at multiple levels across the country, might I add.
Okay, listen. That's
Across
my
the
bad.
country.
That's my bad.
That is the fairest thing we've said.
I
all
was
day.
a little focused
Fairest thing
on
we've said all
making sure
day.
this thing goes off without a hitch. Okay, just a little bit.
And
focused.
you're
at least
excelling
one
at
of
that.
us. At least one of us.
Excelling.
At least
Excelling
one of
at
us
that.
has to be focused on that. Clearly.
So refresh Joe Boo on the D1 schools you played for.
Absolutely, please.
So
I would appreciate that.
I played at APCC, El Paso Community College,
Okay.
and it was also Division I junior college.
Okay. Okay.
And then I went off and I played Division I at a HBCU at
Oh, that's right.
Winston-Salem
Oh, now it's coming back to
State
me. It's coming back to me.
University. Yes.
Okay, good.
Historically black college.
Yes, it's what.
Yeah.
Right. I now remember what she said. I now remember.
Man.
Okay. I apologize.
It's
I
okay.
so apologize. Good gracious, Joe. I appreciate you.
We're gonna drop like $1,000 in Denny's now.
It's,
That's right.
This is what's gonna happen.
that'd be fair.
Shout out to Denny's.
That'd be fair.
Shout out Denny's. We're coming to you after this because we haven't had breakfast.
That's
and,
right. We're looking for a restaurant sponsor.
we are looking for a restaurant
Absolutely. We need
sponsor.
somebody that might give us a couple coupons to give out to people to draw business over
And
there.
when we're sitting there eating our was it the home run scramble or whatever they call it?
Grand Slam.
Grand Slam.
Home run
Grand
scramble.
Slam slugger.
Yeah,
There's a
baseball,
bunch of
net,
different
sports
things.
metaphors, and breakfast. It can't get better than that. You'll know our table because there's going to be a gentleman in a white hat yelling what? What are you going to yell when we get to Denny's?
Roxanne! No?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's going to be great. That's what I do. He'll wait till it gets super quiet, and then he'll be like, Roxanne!
Yeah, sometimes,
And just,
sometimes I won't even finish it. Rox!
yeah, and then I'm like, oh, is that a large parakeet? No, it's the Average Joe's Media.
And...
Average just wants a scramble.
Oh, man,
Yeah, it's gonna be
Joe
great
was
stuff.
Man, he was redder than the strawberries and the crepes I was eating.
He gave me like a full anxiety attack.
It was
already bad
awesome.
enough
It was the
because
best
this
day
dude's
ever.
wearing a hat that looks like the hat they used to pick the houses in Harry Potter, and so he keeps making all these references. And we're sitting right next to the kitchen.
I was not wearing that type of hat.
No, the guy, our waiter was.
Oh yeah,
It
Gandalf.
was- yeah, the hat was bigger than
Gandalf
him.
the Grey, yeah.
Yeah, and so he kept making all these comments. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Oh,
And
it's
my
fun.
youngest son already is like too much like Joe Boo publicly, and so that was just that was a 360 degree.
Jackson is much better off that he is like me in public. Just
I
so
mean,
you know, I'm just saying.
Well, by the time we get to the movie theater, I was telling Jordan on the way there, I was like, you know what? I mean, he's not gonna do anything crazy. And then Jordan was like, define crazy. I was like, well, I mean, it's not like he's gonna shoot the gun with him in the car. You know what I mean? Like I
Oh,
was just
wow.
like, yeah, not
That's
that
one
far.
way to go about that.
Not that far, but y'all got the attention of an 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
And then you tried to set my 13-year-old son up with a sophomore at Mesquite High School.
Absolutely, I did. Why would I not do that?
So we're standing in line at the theater, and we're hearing about all of this, and Jack is just loving it. I mean, Jack is like, this is the greatest thing.
Yeah, and she
ever.
wasn't. She wasn't 13-year-old.
No, and he's 13. She was just like a sophomore.
Oh yeah, she's 15 or
She
16. I
was
think
like
she
a
had to be
sophomore
16 in order to
in
work
high
there.
school. And he's like, let me introduce you to Jackson.
Yeah. So she was clearly young enough to be in Jackson's wheelhouse of dating ages.
I appreciate that you
You
think
bet.
that like a 7th grader and like a sophomore, that's what's up.
Well, he
I'm
was
glad
about
that's
to. It
his
was
wheelhouse.
summer. He was about to be in 8th grade, wasn't it? Or was it during the school year?
I was doing the school.
Oh, okay.
It was Aquaman. I think is
Oh,
what
that's
it
right.
was.
That's right. So, I mean,
But I appreciate
still,
that.
he's 13 and she was
I mean-
15.
So at what age
gets
can
it from
your
his dad.
son date
He gets it from his
a
dad.
3 years older
yeah,
woman?
Oh,
I think he was
that's-
already 13 and she was 15. It was less than 3 years.
Okay.
I mean, I think it would be kind of weird if a sophomore was trying to go out with a 7th grader. Quite honestly, like I think there's a huge difference there. I mean, in age
So you
difference.
think
but-
that-
So
you
if he was like 21,
And she was 24 or 22, 23 and a half.
well, as far as when they're older, I'm okay with that. I don't care what's
Oh,
wrong with that.
oh, okay.
Age is just a number.
So what about if a 15-year-old boy was dating a 13-year-old girl?
I said once they're the adults.
Yeah. No, but this happens all the time. I teach high school. This happens all the time.
I think it depends on the situation.
I have a
'cause I don't
senior in
think
high school who told me that his girlfriend's 22. Is that weird?
Yes.
Well, what if they've known each other for 8 years?
Well, you're right then. I
Oh,
guess.
so there's exceptions to these rules.
I think there's exceptions.
Okay,
For,
so
I love
on
how
my-
he does this, and you kind of like, yeah, he is.
My
you guys are
point
kind of
is-
seeing eye to eye on that one and completely baited. And I just, whoa, you hooked me on this one. You hooked me.
I mean,
you hooked me.
My
Yeah.
point is 15 and 13, I don't care if it's middle school and high 15 and 13 is not that big of an age
Okay,
difference.
so when your
Neither of them
daughters
can drive,
at
so parents
13
are still going to have to escort or chaperone.
Okay.
Oh, okay, great.
So when the younger two are in middle school, and like one of the guys at high school is like, "Hey, coach, I want to date your 7th grade daughter," you're gonna be like, "Of course, son, it'd be great. Thanks, come on over. Let's
okay,
take you to McDonald's."
first of all, the reaction to a dude asking your daughter on a date is way different than your son taking another girl out on a date. You are going to react 100% differently when Grace gets asked out than if Jackson goes and asks some girl out.
No.
Yes, you are.
You're
I'm
going to
be inquisitive. You're going to be inquisitive, but you're not going to be protective over Jackson.
Yes, I will.
No, you will not.
Tell me I won't.
I just did. You're not going to be.
Tell me I won't.
You're not going to be protective
I will
over
be.
him.
I'm gonna
You're going
protect
to
all
tell
three of
him.
them.
You're going to tell him, be smart.
Well,
Be
that's-
smart.
that's
You're
fair.
going to have a shotgun ready when Grace brings a boy home. There is no question about it. There is no doubt.
This is a proven fact.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
If your
Yes.
protective nature does not protect your son, it protects your daughter.
First of all, whereas I will agree, I might be a much more apprehensive in the beginning, but I am very protective of my boys, and I
I'm
don't
not-
want to see
okay.
my boys get
No.
hurt. And
Okay,
so I'm
that's
still
not
gonna
the
have-
same thing.
No.
That is not. Thank Des. Oh, man, I love you so much. This is awesome. This is not the
When,
same
when,
thing.
when are you going to hit him with a softball, Des? She's
She's
turned
either
on
gonna
me.
hit me or I'm gonna
She's
hit
turned,
it. One or
she-
two.
she's turned on
Hey,
me.
we're talking about what? Gender equality, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
well, I'm very equal when it comes to my
gonna-
children. Sincerely.
I honestly don't think you would treat your son the way you would treat your daughter.
Thank you. Oh
I've
my
been
gosh.
actually. I've
We
had
are-
this conversation
man,
with other
this
people
is
before.
good.
I am very, very clear with all three of my kids.
Yes, you're
With
clear.
what my expectations are.
Yep.
I expect any relationship my boys are in, I'm going to hold it to the same standards in relationship that their sister's in, because their prospective girlfriends is someone else's daughter and someone else's sister.
That is not how you are going to react
Okay, well,
whenever
so-
the
I am going to react
situations
that way.
happen.
I'm telling you,
No.
I've been
No,
very
no.
open with this.
You are not getting this.
Let me ask you a question, Joey.
Expectations and
Would you
reactions
be
are different.
okay? Would you do this with your son? Would you throw with your son, or would you play dolls with your son?
I would do whatever
saying.
my child wanted to do.
Listen,
Okay, if your son-
stop being PC right now. Just answer the question directly.
I'm not being PC at all.
You
I'm not being PC.
If your
I've
son
played-
was cool with playing anything he wanted to, hey, Dad, you choose, you pick it. What would you pick for
That's-
your
I
son?
would pick
That's-
whatever he was passionate about.
Joe, answer the question.
I'm giving an honest answer.
Answer
I try,
the question.
No, I give an
You
honest
would
answer.
answer that question if instead of like the morning routine day, you lied about everything. You would answer that
I'm
question
not falling for that trap again today, homie.
with everything
I'm not.
that she just asked you. You would pick something that is boyish or
Masculine.
manly or masculine. You would pick throwing a baseball, football, playing catch. You would pick trains, trucks, firefighters, policemen. You would pick those type of mentally stimulating things that boys typically get into. If you were talking about your daughter, you would pick teacups and dresses and all these other things that is society has driven into our mind as this
Thanks,
is
John.
girly versus manly.
I will tell you, and I have a history of this. I'm being 110% transparent. I prefer to spend my time with my kids with whatever they're passionate about, and I don't have a problem with what that is. I've gone to robotics competitions hyped up like it's Friday Night Lights. You know what I mean? I embarrass on my daughter at art competitions because it is like we're at the Met Gala. You know what I mean? So I get hyped for whatever it is that they want to do. And I grew up with a lot of different siblings, and they were all different. I'm being serious. Like, here's the
So
deal.
then-
I had a stuffed animal I slept with, or I had in my room that was important to me until I was like
So did I.
10 or so. You know what
did
I mean?
I.
And I played dolls with my daughters. I mean, I had my daughters with my sisters. I played.
So have I. I
with
played
my
dolls
sisters.
with my daughters.
Yeah.
I,
I have a
played,
problem.
I may have played dolls with your sisters too.
You're so bad. You probably. I mean.
Okay, keep going. Keep going.
Anyways,
We digress.
So I'm saying, yeah. Thanks for saying that.
Let me put
yeah,
it
but
in,
you know-
in a
you-
different
you know what I'm saying?
perspective. Let me tell you like this. Would you be a little bit more aggressive with your son than you would with your daughter?
That's a fantastic. All these questions.
Depends on the scenario.
It depends on what they're passionate about.
Depends on as far as aggressive goes. It depends on it. I mean, because here's the deal. Like, I'll approach it a little bit differently though. But if my
Oh,
daughter
my
challenges
goodness.
me on the same level
I wish you
as
would
my
ask.
sons have tried to challenge me as they're growing up, they are going to get different responses. You're right. That's fair.
Oh,
That's
'cause
fair.
that's
But I want to be
basically what
clear.
she
But I want to
said.
be clear though. If my sons did not, if for some reason they didn't want to go outside and do something that was quote unquote masculine, and they wanted to do something that may or may not be considered feminine by certain people's labels, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Just because my daughter is a girl, I've never put her in the box of saying, honey, we have to do this, this, and this. Anything that's going on, let's go do it.
That is not her question, Joe. Her question
I feel
was.
like that is her question.
No, her question.
Am I not answering your
I wish you
question?
would feel like her question is exactly what her question is. Her
What is her
question
question?
was if your son came up and said, Dad, pick something that we can do, what would you pick?
I tried to answer that question honestly. I would pick something that my child was passionate about because that's what I enjoy the most. It's not about just doing what I want to do. What I want to do is to have time with my kids where they're enjoying it. I swear to you, that is seriously how I live my life with them.
But your son, in this scenario, your son would ask you, Dad, whatever you want to do, I'm going to have fun with you?
Okay.
What do you
Well,
want
I'm
to
also
do
a realist,
with your
and
son?
I'm a realist, and my kids,
You would-
that's not how it works.
You would play Fortnite with your son.
Yeah,
I
that's
know
what they wanna
Grace
do.
has played Fortnite before, but does she play it regularly?
No, she's not really into
Not
it
at
anymore.
all. What would she rather do? Go shopping, or I've seen her cook and enjoy it. I've seen her do not really anything masculine. Okay? So her question
Well, at her
was,
age, she's not really doing that, but she used to do things that were that different nature.
she maybe didn't have much of a choice.
Okay, I don't know where this is going.
Okay,
anymore. But
so
anyways,
here's the deal.
so
She's got
at
two
any
older
rate-
brothers and a dad who's raising her.
Yeah, so when
Okay,
she wants
she's
to
got
bake, I
three
bake with her. I
masculine
enjoy doing art with
influences.
her. She wants to. Back when she was going through the slime phase, I did that. It
Okay.
doesn't matter to me. But if she wants to go outside and play catch with a baseball or a football, or she wants to go lift weights, which she's wanted to work out, we've done that
Yeah.
before. I don't care.
I appreciate you staying on topic with how you're answering this question, but I would play catch with my daughters if that's what they wanted as well.
Okay.
But if they said, Daddy, what would you like to do? I would say, let's draw. Let's play the house or whatever. I do know that that's what they like, but it's because that they're girls. That's what they do.
I guess
now,
what I'm
there's
trying
a
to say
couple of
is I don't-
exceptions in this world where a girl would like fire trucks and manly stuff and going out in the woods and making their own fire and whatever. There's a couple of exceptions there, but generally speaking, what am I going to pick to play with my daughters? Am I going to say, hey, go grab your baseball glove and get a ball, let's go outside? No, I'm not going to do that because cognitively speaking, I'm going to think about what they would enjoy because they are girls.
But see, I disagree with that logic from the standpoint of, no, I'm being serious. I do. I'm not trying to predetermine what my children should or shouldn't like because of their sex.
Okay, let me ask you a different question.
That's all I'm saying.
In the same vein,
And that's not being politically correct either. That's literally how
in
I'm
the
raising my
same vein
kids.
as her question, let's say you're going out. Okay, let's say you're going out. You're going
Mm-hmm.
out you're going out either out on a date or you're going out with a buddy. Okay?
Right.
Whether that buddy's a guy or a girl, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Answer me that question. What are you going to do, regardless of gender? What are you going to do?
If I'm going out to do what?
If you're going out on the town to have a good time, regardless of gender,
Probably gonna go to a restaurant, maybe go to a place to hear music or a place to go do something fun, like I don't know, bowl, play darts,
okay, why is that?
because it's fun.
Okay, because it's fun for you.
I enjoy those activities, and those are fairly universally enjoyable activities.
Okay, you're going out on a date. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna probably do something that the date wants to go do.
Okay, which would be what?
Something that she wanted to go do.
What would she want to do?
I don't know what she wanted to go do. Maybe she'd like to go take like a country drive. Maybe she'd like to go take pictures. Maybe she'd like to go to the shooting range.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe she'd like to go painting with a twist. I don't know because
Okay.
I'm not putting people in boxes, homie.
Nobody's putting anybody in boxes.
I feel like that's kind of what we're doing.
Nobody's putting
No.
Nobody's
No?
putting anybody in boxes. Ultimately, you have a natural reaction when it comes to doing things differently when gender is different.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the world reacts differently to opposing genders.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay, well you're trying to tell me that that your reactions have nothing to do with gender, and that is universally false.
I don't believe that's what I said, but
Yes, it
okay.
is. You react.
Yes.
That's exactly what you said. You said that I would do what they wanted to do, regardless of. No, it has nothing to do with regardless of. I'm going to treat my son and my daughter exactly the same whenever they have a date. And
No.
that is universally false.
Well, we teach their own, buddy.
Well, that's fair. I'm just saying, I want you to eat crow whenever Jackson brings home a girl and whenever Grace brings home a boy. And I want a video recording of both reactions. First of all, I want a video recording of the prep talk you give both of them. And second, I want a video reaction of when you actually meet them.
I'm going to be very clear in saying that obviously prep talk's going to be a little bit different. There are some specific differences with all these different things, but the overall general idea here is
Okay, so what's the prep talk going to be with your daughter? Don't let a boy too close. Yes?
yeah. Whereas my boys would be respect the person that you're with. So you're accomplishing the same
Interesting.
task here. You're
Interesting.
going over to the same outcomes, but yes, because they're two different people, and
So-
they're going to have different roles in the relationships.
So
it's going to be a little bit different.
let's just get a little bit educational
My
here.
God,
Okay?
equal but different.
Equal but different. Let's just get a.
This is. I don't think
Let's
that
get a little
excuse the
educational.
intrusion is let's microscopically dive into average Joe.
Excuse the intrusion's over. That we haven't asked. It's over. We are now into still equal but different because now it's
Oh, we're
equal
going on
reactions. but
second
different.
hour of the podcast.
That's
Let's get
true.
it.
I don't know why you haven't noticed that yet. We're in hour 15. So, okay, Joe.
Thanks for the support, guys. I got some support out there in the comments here.
Okay, so
So I appreciate that. That's very nice.
Here's the question. The question is, man, I feel like I just lost my question because
Maybe because it wasn't a good question.
no, it was a fantastic question. Okay.
No.
Okay, here's the question. When the day inevitably comes, when your sons and your daughter are no longer innocent, and
Okay.
that's going to happen, okay? That's a universal truth. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Are you going to feel like your son was violated, or are you going to feel like your daughter was violated?
That's actually a really good question.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That's really good. That's a really good question. And so the way that I've tried to have conversations with all three of them,
Uh-huh.
and the approach I'm trying to take with all three of them, is more about focusing on like themselves,
Okay?
right?
Okay?
To respect themselves, to respect their bodies, to respect that whoever you're with, if they truly do care, love, respect, etc., to whatever extent you can at that particular age, they're not going to encourage, tempt, etc., and so forth, for you to compromise your morals, compromise your compass, compromise what's important to you. And so that's kind of like the theme I'm trying to take with them, is from that standpoint, so as not to get trapped into that type of framing of like, I'm not going to be the person who's like, oh, that away son, you know what I mean? Like, oh no, no, because I think they all three need to focus on themselves, but also, I'm also not naive to think that in this day and time, especially with personal experiences myself, just because men are not the only people in relationships that are the aggressor when it comes to certain things.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
But generally speaking, they are.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
I would say Des, what would you say? Generally speaking, who is more aggressive in the progressing of a relationship? Generally speaking.
Males.
Thank you.
Okay, well then
Generally speaking.
that's fine.
Did we talk about this beforehand? Did I prompt you to say that in any way, shape, or form?
No.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we just need to make sure that was on the record. Okay.
Joey, you got to think of it too. Like, if your son and your daughter were playing with you football,
Yeah.
you are going to play differently with your daughter than you are going to play with your son.
Yep. You are going to approach
You're not going
it
to play with
differently.
them equally. You're not.
Nope.
I don't play, and I'm guilty of this too. I don't play with my niece the way that I play with my nephew. There's no way.
I slap my nephew around and I baby my nieces
Yeah.
because I feel like he's a boy and he can handle it, or he needs to learn how to handle it.
I'm not saying that you don't handle people differently, but I'm saying it's much more. My approach is much more individualistic as opposed to boy versus girl. Because
But if you
some
didn't,
girls
if
are
it's not,
conversation,
but if
though.
it's not individualistic and they're both playing with you,
yeah.
male, female, how would you play with both of them?
This is what Joey's going to do, and I want to say this before he
Okay.
tries to interject. Joey throws the ball to Jackson, okay, and it hits him in the face because it goes straight through his hands. And he's going to be like, you should have caught it, dude. And then same thing happens with Grace. She tries to catch the football. It goes straight through her hands, hits her in her face. Oh, honey, are you okay? I'm so sorry. Did I throw that ball too hard? I apologize. Are you okay?
Yes,
you
I
need
don't
to go to the
disagree with that.
hospital?
I don't, Not that far, but yeah, I don't agree. I don't disagree with
You
that.
might go to the hospital. My point is that that's exactly what Des is asking.
Okay, well then from that standpoint, then yes.
So
So going back to
the original.
which is
What I want to do? I want to play dolls with my daughter versus playing dolls with my son. And play,
no, we originally were talking about going out.
Yes.
Your kids going out.
Yes.
Yeah.
When
It's going to be different for a female as opposed to it as a male.
Your reaction is going to be different.
My grandfather is I love him. He's in his late 80s, going to be in his early 90s, and he, as a woman that's still in her early 30s, he flips off and on the lights for me to come inside as an adult. My brother, he doesn't do it. My brother is 15, well, he's 16 years old. He loves that he's outside playing with the guys. He doesn't flip off and on the lights.
Okay, so from that
Universal
standpoint, which
truths,
is hold on.
universal
Well, no,
concepts, universal
but what
ideas.
I'm trying to get at from that standpoint, which is where I felt like the question was coming from, I'm treating all three of my kids the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's me. That's how
Okay.
I'm going to do it. That's how I've been doing it.
This is the other question to that. This is the other part of that. You're going to high five your son.
No, I'm not.
You're going to high five your son, and you're going to look differently at your daughter.
No,
100%.
I don't believe so, dude.
Yes, you are. You are going to. You can be like, "That boy," and you'll be like, "Really?" Whenever it's your daughter.
No.
Yes. Now, unfortunately for me,
Yeah.
all I have is 3 daughters, so I'm going to be looking that way 3 different times. Really? You couldn't have waited. couldn't have waited.
I will.
You couldn't have waited
I'm not
until you got
going
out of
to-
my house. You couldn't have waited until you're married.
I'm
Really?
not going to judge anyone for how they handle the whole situation, but my aim.
Nobody's
my
talking
goal-
about judgments. Nobody's
know,
talking
I'm
about
not-
judgments.
I didn't say judgment. I'm just saying
You just
I
said
disagree with you
judgments.
because I'm clarifying. I'm not saying you're doing it the wrong way or you're going to do it the wrong way. I'm just telling you that's not how I'm trying to go about things.
I'm not trying
And
to go
I've
about
been
that either way. But
I've been fairly transparent and fairly consistent with that approach with all three of my kids.
well,
I
sure.
think that's a good thing
That's
that
great.
you're attempting to do that. I personally think that you would, if you have the talk with your son and your daughter, it's going to be different
Yes.
with a female than it is with a male.
It's going to be different not only because of the biological differences.
Yeah.
It's going to be different because of your emotional investment is way different in your daughter than it is in your son. Your emotional investment. I'm not saying that you don't love your son more than your daughter or your daughter more than your son. I'm not saying
No.
anything about that. I'm saying you have a different
Yes.
aspect
There's a different aspect to my relationship with all three of my kids.
and there's a clear line of separation between the love and everything you have for both of your boys versus your daughter. Therefore, your emotional reactions, your emotional whatever, to whenever they bring boys home or whenever they do something like play baseball or dolls, all that stuff is because one's a boy and one's a girl. And it's going to be different. Everything is going to be different.
Well, in my particular situation, I'm trying to be as consistent as humanly possible because I don't have the luxury
There's no question about that.
of having a second hat.
There's no question about
You know what
that.
I mean? And
I
then-
got to be that way too, but unfortunately, I don't have a boy. I say unfortunate. I don't know if it's unfortunate. I love my daughters, and I wouldn't ask for anything different than what they are to me. But I'm fortunate that I don't have to distinguish between daughter or son. I can approach everything the same with all three of them, and then when I make a mistake in my approach with one, I can address it for the other, and I can workshop my reactions to my daughters as they each grow older.
Here's the thing. The
in
other
different
unique
time.
thing about my situation is I have boy-girl twins.
Yeah, that's true.
So I, from a young age, from day one, really, the approach is tried to be as consistently as humanly possible.
Okay, but approach and reaction are different things.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, this whole conversation with girls in sports, the reactions are totally different because how everybody generally universally views women versus how people generally universally view men. And in those sports, that's why there is such polarizing reactions to a woman trying to play in the NFL.
I'm not discounting that, but I'm just saying I might not subscribe or share some of the same polarizing opinions as other people.
There's no question about that you don't share them. But the fact of the matter is whenever there is a situation that involves a boy and a girl, and especially one you're close to, you're going to have differing reactions. You're going to have differing opinions. Because if your son went and tried out for football, you would think, go on, go nuts, you're a boy. If your daughter tried to go, are you sure? Are you sure, honey? Is this something you really want to do? there is a difference in the way that you're going
Okay.
to approach that. Would you disagree with that? If your daughter came up to you and said, "I want to play football, Dad. I want to be a left tackle. I want to be a tight end. I want to be a receiver," whatever it was. I want to be a kicker because apparently that's all they can do, huh?
Whatever she wanted to do, I'd support her in it.
You would support her, but how would you go about it? Would you caution her about the dangers of the sport?
No more so than I caution my boys about.
You would not caution your boys because they know.
So
the
you
I
know-
dangers
did.
of
I
the
did
sport.
caution my boys. I actually didn't want Jordan to play football. I wanted him just to play competitive soccer. I had a lot of injuries growing up. I knew a lot of people with injuries. I didn't necessarily want him to go through that. And with Jackson, he can't safely play football.
Okay.
So I'm not saying I'm like everybody else. Maybe my situation is unique, but
Maybe
I'm
it is.
being
Maybe
I'm
it is.
being honest with
maybe
my.
you are not. Maybe you are not normal.
I'm fine with that. I'm just saying, but like I'm being for real. Like football for me was a great experience, but it's not necessarily something I was dead set on my boys playing because I saw some of the darker aspects of it too. They fell in love with soccer. I fell in love with soccer. Soccer was great. It was something all three kids
Soccer
could play.
is great. Soccer is fantastic.
Shout out to varsity soccer team.
Rallied Eagles.
Rallied Eagles. Caw-caw.
That's right.
Whatever noise the eagle makes.
You're gonna do
But
that every time now.
Yeah, pretty much. I want to
Okay.
find like the little thing. But anyway, so man,
I know we've been talking about female playing male sports, but what about male?
Yes. Why?
Trying-
why isn't
to-
there a boys volleyball team? I've asked that since
Well,
we were
there
kids.
is.
Well, there
There
is.
is in Olympics and other aspects, but
But
it's
not
just
like-
not
not like
nearly
growing
as,
up.
It's not nearly as publicized.
I'm talking like, hey, there's a baseball player that wants to play softball.
Yep. That would be shot down in an instant.
Yes.
So ultimately, women shouldn't be fired up about not playing men's sports. Men should get fired up about not playing women's sports.
Well, if
Because
we're
the
gonna go-
opportunities are shot down and not even
If we're
open.
going to go full send, then let's just open this up even more.
Okay?
Because this whole transgender thing is really creating a whole lot of controversy right now. Because you have men, like there's a guy that was like I think on the Ellen Show or something. Like he was a guy.
Caitlyn Jenner?
Well, I mean, he's been on there, or she's been on there. I mean, no offense, whatever. I don't know. Out of my depth on some of this, but there was a individual.
Out of your depth on a lot of stuff.
There's an individual who I want to say they were born a woman and transitioned into a male,
Okay.
and
Just say it, dude. Just
they were-
say
they were
it.
trying
Don't
to-
apologize about it.
well, we're not on the highly unapologetic podcast.
It's okay.
But anyway,
it's not
so-
like you're trying to be offensive
So there's a lot
here.
of drama. There's a lot of drama with them trying to compete in swimming, because there's a big difference between like how female swimmers develop in their skills and abilities versus the males and stuff, and so they were afraid that the individual was going to lose. She was going to lose her scholarship because she wouldn't be able to compete. She wouldn't be a successful competitor switching over into the men's swimming because their times are, faster and they're quicker and this, that, and the other. And then I think here in Texas, there was a story where there was
Hashtag this, that, and the other.
hashtag this, that, and the other. There was a boy transitioning to a girl, and so they were going to wrestle. And so the boy that's now a girl won the women's wrestling state championship.
Huh.
And people were like completely livid
Yeah.
because this individual could predominantly hurt people and was very dominant because their muscular, their bone structure, everything, with being a man, was that much greater, than the female competitors that they were doing. So I mean, I think what your point's great, but with the whole idea of people switching between boys and girls, we're going to see even more of it.
So let's just look at the whole identifying as, okay? If you identify as a man, you are understood to play men's sports, whatever. If you identify as a woman, you are predominantly intended to play women's sports. Are we in a relative agreement on that, at least in what is socially acceptable? Okay. So if you identify as a man and you try out for a woman's sport, is the opportunity available?
I think not.
No, it's not. So people get up in arms when a woman wants to play a man's sport, but then they also get up in arms in exactly the opposite argument with men trying to play a woman's sport. I mean, if
I think it's kind of
listen, if I like
catch-22.
volleyball, I can't go play volleyball unless I go search out a league, a
Right.
rec league or a select league or whatever leagues.
Or find a bunch of men that want to play
That
with you.
want to play with me. I have to go search that out. I can't just go to my local high school and go to volleyball tryouts and say, hey, I want to try out for volleyball.
That's a
I
fact.
think I can be
That is a
good
fact.
at it. And it's UIL regulated.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain, but But it's not UIL regulated with women trying to play football or anything like that. There's all kinds of red tape that you would have to erase in order for me, if I was 15 years old and I wanted to play softball, or if I wanted to play girls soccer, or if I wanted to play girls basketball, or if I wanted to play volleyball. I would have to jump through so many hoops, and ultimately it would probably be for nothing.
Well, I mean, you see the same thing with males want to be cheerleaders. It's a little bit more predominant when
You
it comes
don't see that. You do not see that. There is the opportunity for a man to be a cheerleader, or for a man to be a cheerleader, to be one of the flag corps people in the band, color guard, whatever. It's all the same stuff. Those opportunities exist.
No, but I mean, they're still not as predominant like drill team. I don't know if there's a bunch of like guys rocking drill team.
But the opportunity exists. If a guy wants to be a part of the drill team, he can go do it. If a guy wants to be a cheerleader, he can go do it. But if a guy wants to play volleyball for his high school, he cannot do it. So why are we all up in arms when a woman
No, I think
is
you got a good point there.
razzed about not getting a football opportunity or not getting a baseball opportunity or whatever the sport is?
No, I think it's like it's double standard.
It really is.
It really is.
So I mean,
Yeah.
I get that the whole chauvinistic, the whole women are thought of in a lot of people's minds. They're thought of as lesser than men, or less physical, or less athletic, or whatever. There's a lot of people that have that idea, and so women have been wanting to prove themselves for a long, long time in a man's world. Okay, let's put quotes around that. That's not my words, but in a man's world, women are trying to find a foothold, ultimately. But if you were to reverse that, in a woman's world, men have no real foothold at all, and they cannot get one.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, I think that this argument, yes, if a woman has the opportunity to play football, she should go nuts. She should do everything she can to be as successful as she possibly can be, 100%. But if a man wants to play volleyball, I think he should have that same opportunity as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this week in social media,
This week in social media.
we have several things that always tend to happen in social media, and or at least things we always come across.
Yep.
So Des, is there anything in social media that you've seen lately that has gotten your attention and you want to talk about? No? Okay. That's cool. Joe, how about you this week in social media?
Well, I'm going to probably pronounce it wrong, but I heard you mention it the other day, Visco Girls.
Visco Girls, yes.
And then, so the kids were having a huge debate the other night about it, and I'm like, I'm really out of the loop on things. I have no idea what you're talking about. What is? I've said it wrong. Visco. I said Crisco, Lisco. Like I have no idea, and the acronym doesn't even make any sense for me. So
Oh, it's an acronym? I just thought it was a word
I
somebody
think
made
it's
up.
an acronym, right? VSC. I assumed it was because I don't even know what I've never heard of these things. So basically, it's like what I've seen it described as online is basically a modern day 90s, early 2000s. It's like Valley Girl or like Beach Girl. It referenced the main character from the OC. And so I don't
what show?
The OC.
The OC, okay.
That's a great show.
Okay.
If you haven't
Oh,
watched it.
that's-
So it says Visco Girls named
That's a
for
plug
the
right there.
aesthetic delivered from the photo editing app Visco, VSCO, formerly known as Visco Cam, which lets users share photos and make preset filters to help keep their image looking uniform. Its latest teen iteration of preppy style with casual beach-inspired flair. So I've heard there's a special water bottle. So if you have this water bottle,
Desi, I think you have
I
this
think she
water
does
bottle.
too. So that's
think
why I
you
was like,
possess
this
this
could,
water
be,
bottle right
this
now.
could be fun. But she doesn't have a shell necklace on.
Well, but I was also
So-
told that bottle has to have stickers on it.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it has to have stickers
So
all
Des,
over
are you
it.
familiar with this term, Visco Girl?
No.
No, I don't know. It's crazy, but
I'm
yeah.
not
So
a Visco girl. I'm my own category.
I like it. I like
been
it.
told.
I'm personally
Yeah.
I'm personally against labels as well. But I think they're still really funny to talk to. So Visco, I just saw on here. It's Visual Supply Company is the name of the company. So that's their abbreviation for their name.
So
Now.
I've heard that this Visco girl thing, something that just if you want to be one, you gotta. I don't know how regular or how often or when you're supposed to, but you're supposed to do like or something.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I also heard scrunchies were a thing, and I just thought
Scrunchies,
scrunchies were
yes.
coming back. But my daughter, she wanted me all these different scrunchies, so I had to order this big thing of scrunchies, and I was like, okay, that's cool. You know, like I hadn't seen those in a minute. You know, like let's bring slap bracelets back in for a second time. You know what I mean? I saw Pogs in the store, dude. I did see the Pogs,
I know,
and
you sent me
Pogs
that
are going to
picture.
happen.
Oh,
Pogs,
that's
we
funny.
want to have an Average Joe's inaugural Pog tournament.
Pog
because-
Invitational, yeah.
Pog Invitational. It's going to be great. We just need to make this happen, Facebook. But anyway, so I didn't think anything of the whole scrunchy thing, and then my daughter's obsessed with water bottles. And so the boys have been like, "Oh, are you going to get this other water bottle because you're a Visco girl now? Like, where's your shell necklace?" And I'm like, I don't know. So I don't know.
Well, so I hear it all the
I
time.
don't
in
understand
school.
any of these things.
My 7-year-old told me about this, and you know, there's just access to things that 7-year-olds don't need, and she doesn't need to be influenced by becoming any certain type of person. I mean, she started doing in the back of the car. I was like, "What's going on?" And then my other daughter was like, "She needs to tell you all about what a Visco girl is." And so now I go to school and I'm like, "Hey, listen, my 7-year-old told me about what a Visco girl is. Can y'all elaborate a little bit?" And so they were like, "Oh no, she knows." I was like, "Yes. Please tell me that my life is soon to end because this is just going to get worse."
Well, it doesn't sound as bad as it could have been. Like, I really thought the way the kids were razzing her that it meant something much more derogatory.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I don't think
you
it
know what I
is.
mean?
It's just
it's just
it's
a-
now just a
preppy,
a way to
right?
label somebody
Yeah.
again. Which why do we need we need more of those? I don't
But
know.
I mean, I guess it's if it's just scrunchies and a water bottle with stickers and a shell necklace, you know what? I mean, that's a lot better than some of the other trends.
That's fair. That's
know?
fair.
You know what came up in the social media is
There it
is we're not talking about Area 51. We're supposed to.
Did
You
that
know?
already happen, or is it happening in
No,
September?
everybody forgot about it.
Oh yeah. Well, there's nothing. So
That's
that
right.
was one of our episodes. Whenever I went down to San Antonio with Highly Unapologetic, we talked about the good and the bad of social media. And
Yeah.
one of the bad, in my opinion, just to add on to that conversation, is things are only around for like a week,
Yeah.
and then you moving on to
They
the
disappear.
next. You just forget about them. You completely forget it unless they stick. If they stick, then they're around for a while. Like the Colin Kaepernick thing stuck, and it still comes
It went
back.
away for a little bit, and then the Betsy Ross shoes came out, and then it was all over again.
Well, but
Well, because of
no,
Jay
but
Z
but it stuck because
attempting or buying a football team. That's the reason why it came up.
Well, but that whole thing stuck because now everybody takes a knee or sits during the pledge. I talked about this at school. They sit during the Pledge of Allegiance, so they don't stand up or they don't put their hand on their heart, or they don't say the president. Now
Right.
it's so apparently Colin Kaepernick needed to give everybody the opinion that they have freedom of speech and freedom of expression and all this other stuff, which we're in school. They should know that.
Yeah.
That's a topic in school. Anyways, but my point is that because he did it on national television, now everybody else has a voice to do it. And so it is perpetual because of his influence.
Right.
But with social media, with Area 51, there's no real influence that's supporting this in any serious manner. And so it fizzled out after basically a week.
Yeah, a couple celebrities went on there and said they were going to go or whatever, like Keanu Reeves and
And that's why it lasted
Chuck
a
Norris.
week instead
Yeah.
of 2 days.
Exactly.
So
But hey, real quick on the back of what you said. So yeah, with Jay-Z entering in that partnership with the NFL, I saw where another story came out that Jermaine Dupri was originally approached several years ago, and Jay-Z basically told him, "Dude,
No.
don't do it. Don't affiliate yourself. Blah 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 blah." So now that Jay-Z is doing it, you got some critics calling him a sellout, and then you have some people on the other side of the coin saying like, "How dare the NFL, fraternize with a drug dealer?" it's crazy how polarizing everybody decides they're going to be.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So for my this week in facial media, in social media,
Facial media is the best.
I mean,
You know,
Facebook, media,
Insta
social
chat,
media.
you know,
Yeah, what's it?
Facegram?
Snapgram or something. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Twitter book,
Yeah. So
Twitter book.
my basic thing outside of Average Joe's media is to get on there and watch videos, and so I like to watch the America's Got Talent videos, and Australia's Got Talent videos, and all that stuff. And so what came up is a video about an actor, or not an actor, a comedian, excuse me, who is disabled.
With cerebral palsy.
Maybe
Yeah.
the comedian.
Yeah, I saw it
Who
because I
lost
was.
his voice.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I didn't know if it was cerebral palsy, but I did know that he hasn't been able to speak maybe ever. I don't think his parents have ever heard his first word. And so, anyways, he went all the way to the finals in one show. He went all the way to, I think he went to maybe the semifinals in the champions division, which, you know, they bring back several people who made the semifinals and stuff. And his content is hilarious. And he even makes mention in his act. He's like, just so y'all know, for the past 5 minutes, y'all have all been laughing at the disabled guy. And then everybody's laughing because they're like, for a second, there was a slight pause, like, oh, you're right. Oh, is this acceptable? But then he's trying to get a laugh, so then everybody starts laughing. They're like, yeah, I guess you're right. We have been. And it is one of the funniest things. And I've shared it on my social media, on my Facebook. And I'll share it on Average Joe's media, too, because it is a funny act. And I would pay to see this guy. Because the other thing is he can't talk, right? And he's got cerebral palsy, so his movements aren't necessarily as fluid as everybody else's. But his reactions in his face, right whenever the punchline hits, he's like, I mean, his reactions are just as if he was talking, and it's so funny.
There's a woman from England or Wales, wherever, with cerebral palsy who's also started to do stand up now too. And so I've just been, with Josh, anytime we see somebody with cerebral palsy doing something, we find it super awesome and fascinating. But the both of them are super hilarious, and I think it's great.
Well, so I want to play a little bit of it.
Are you
okay with that? Okay, so here we go.
It's the Lost Boys guy.
Okay, and how long have
So he's
you
using a
lost your
computer
voice?
to talk for himself.
I just knew you were going to ask something that I hadn't thought about beforehand. So please excuse the awkward silence while I type out my answer.
He had that pre-recorded.
I've been speechless for 37 years.
Wow. Tell me why you decided to enter the show this year.
I think I entered Britain's Got Talent for the same reason everyone does. To meet Ant and Dec. He couldn't see that I was still there. And I couldn't tell him I wasn't moving because I can't speak.
Anyway, so the reactions on this guy are just awesome, and that joke, I fast forwarded it because I didn't like the interview portion, just because it takes too long in my opinion.
Right.
But this guy was coming onto a train. He was also disabled. He was blind and deaf, and so he was asking somebody to move out of the disabled chair. Well, he was disabled, sitting in the disabled chair, but he couldn't tell him that he was disabled. So this guy couldn't see him not move and couldn't hear him say he couldn't move because he can't. It was just so funny. The I don't know, and that's when they all started laughing. It was
It's good stuff.
It was really funny, and that was just his audition. And so then that video will go into the audition. It'll go into the semifinals of the season he tried out in,
Right.
and then it'll go into the champions season where he's playing. And the judges love him, the audiences loves him. And I mean, when I saw it, I had to watch the whole thing. It was really good. And so I love seeing that type of stuff. I saw on Australia's Got Talent. You know, every country, continent, and maybe even major city has a Got Talent.
And they have an
show.
X Factor.
Yes.
The Voice.
Yeah,
I mean,
they have.
You're
they
in
have
my
pretty
wheelhouse
much,
now, buddy.
They have pretty much everything. But I saw a Mongolian. I I think he's from Mongolia. He was doing a Mongolian, like, I'm going to say pole dance. Because it wasn't really a pole dance. He was holding a log and twirling it around like a baton. And he lit it on fire on both sides. I mean, this was like a tree that was it was cut down to about, 15 feet. Wow. And it was maybe a foot in diameter. I mean, you're talking about a huge log that he put on his shoulders and started twirling it around like it was a baton. And it was pretty neat.
I'm gonna go look for that now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it's called, but it was Australia's Got Talent was the show. But anyways, anything else on social media this week that you came across?
Just one thing, quick shout out to the University of Texas for their newest professor, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Matthew McConaughey.
Okay. He's
Cool.
a professor now? Oh, you sent me that. He's
a professor now. Yeah, we still need to do that podcast this season where we dive into his 13 pillars. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm also wearing the burnt orange today because we're playing tonight.
Oh, you're repping it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. LA Tech was already talking smack.
I'm guessing that's what they play.
Yeah, they play that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Women in professional sports, equal but different.
Equal but different.
Equal but different. So, I mean, where are we coming? Where are we? Do we in some kind of an agreement? Do we have anybody on there that any comments where they pretty much said you're right or you're wrong or this is the worst idea ever, talking about something so controversial?
I think the main consensus from all of the posts and the comments and everything has really been women should be supported in trying to have an opportunity to do whatever they want to do. If there are legitimate concerns for health and safety, those should be taken into considerations. But for the most part, people should be able to try to live the life they want to live and do what they want to do. So that's why I think it's, with as many polarizing comments and opposing views, and we talk about a country divided on so many different issues, I really thought it was nice that, a lot of the people that are following the page, a lot of people that we even grew up with as parents, are of the same mindset of supporting, their daughters, their nieces, their sisters to do whatever they want to do.
They should be able to have the opportunity if the opportunity presents itself. Yeah, I mean, I agree.
You guys are on the same page?
Yeah, absolutely. Then you know what? That's ultimately, in my opinion, that's the discussion. Mm-hmm. Is the opportunity there? If it's not there, then there's no discussion. If it is there, then there is a discussion.
And I got to tell you, I think I'll say, obviously, thank you for being with us today.
Absolutely.
But thank you for the perspective you gave to the conversation, because we really wanted to hear what was someone who's faced some of these challenges, and I think we learned a little bit about that whole subject too. Even being with daughters who have played sports but much younger. They're not in high school yet, obviously. Well, one daughter is in high school. One's soon to be.
Yes.
But I don't think.
Tara, I love you, baby.
Yeah, shout out to TJ.
That's right. She's amazing.
She's incredible.
She is. She really is.
I still think she should play soccer.
Well, she's got back issues.
Okay.
So it's not much fun right now because she gets in pain and easily, and anything can set that off. Right. Back is a tricky beast whenever it comes to athletics and athletes and stuff. So,
anyways, I think it was just some experiences that we probably hadn't come across ourselves, and it was really good perspective.
Absolutely. So, hey, Dean Lewis. Dean Lewis. Hey, Dean, how are you?
Dean Lewis. I hope Dean was really enjoying those amazing lyrics that we were slapping down.
Absolutely.
I mean,
we were slapping them down.
We were slapping them down. Shout out to the Flying Saucer on the lake for not kicking us out. I personally think we had the voices. Thanks for switching it back over to me as I'm scooting close to the camera, so I can.
That's what I'm here for.
So I can read what's on my screen. Let me try to scoot back just a little bit. We're strictly professionals here. I mean, top quality, top grade. And I'm about to knock something over. Thanks, Des, for the support there. We really do appreciate it.
Des is an amazing
as a professional
guest
producer,
on more than one level.
She's going to probably give us a very long list of all the different things we need to do differently moving forward. One of which is be getting some WD-40 for the springs on this.
Yeah, or hire a producer.
Yes, so very much so. And by hire, we mean volunteer work.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So anyway, back to Dean, our bestie from down under. We hope that you enjoy the musical stylings of the Average Jos, because it was really one of the greatest things we've ever done with our lives. I mean, there's kids, and then they were singing to Dean Lewis.
Yeah,
that's pretty much.
Absolutely.
I don't know really how else to describe it. And I saw where the Dean Lewis fan experience, shout out to Katie Kirchen, tagged the Ellen show in it. So Ellen, if you're watching it, you're welcome. You know what I mean? Like, you're welcome.
Absolutely. That was our pleasure.
That was our
100%.
pleasure. So I mean, we may need to do a Hey Ellen segment coming up, but right now we're really going to focus on Dean. Dean, we've thought about it. You've given us some great advice.
So much to think about.
So much to think about. There it is. We promised you, my friend. We promised you
the didgeridoo.
The didgeridoo. So now this is our official opening to the Hey Dean, except for that part. It's for the Hey Dean segment of our podcast. So Dean, we thought what we do today is we've taken your advice. We've talked about how you speak to us. We've even sung to you, mate. We've sung to you. So what we thought today, we thought we would try to give you some advices because I can't talk right now because it's so loud. It's so loud. I instantly feel like I'm in the outback right now. I feel like there are koala bears and kangaroos jumping everywhere, and might be the greatest thing ever.
It might be.
It might be.
We got a little bit of.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Yeah, well, we got some
like that.
Aboriginal music going on.
I'm telling you what,
Good
man.
Stuff.
Kind of sound like the intro to one of the Creedence Clearwater Revival songs, except for, the didgeridoo.
I guess I'm getting a phone call.
Are we getting a special guest? We're going to put him on? No, we're not.
Well, back to the didgeridoo.
Didgeridoo.
Back to the didgeridoo. This is good stuff.
So anyways, Dean, our friend, we love your song so much, and we really listen to the lyrics. And, this is so random. So as coming from two guys who we really like to think about as your best friends, best male friends from Texas, we just really want to give you some advice. We want to ask you some questions here. We want to speak to you through your song lyrics because the song really is a window into the soul.
It really is.
It really is. And so we've been listening and paying attention to some of the lyrics. And Bud, we're worried about you. You know what I mean? I mean, we've been there. Trust me, we've been there. We know women can hurt. You know what I mean? The ladies, they can really cause some damage. But we're thinking, we thought we would just take a situation and walk through it with you.
Absolutely.
And just give you our take on maybe what to do a little bit differently. Maybe you need to find someone different.
Yeah, 100%. So, Dean, I just want you to know that, whether or not you hang your bag on your left arm or your right arm, if there's a woman judging you for that, she's not worth it, man.
She's really not. She's really not, because who cares? I mean, Des, you want to chime into the Hey Dean episode or part of this? From your perspective, do you care which arm the bag is drooped over, right or left? Do you have a preference? No. See, Des says she doesn't care.
Yeah.
So why should these ladies in Australia care what side of your arm, which arm you got your bag on?
Absolutely.
It doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely. And when you're kicking stones at parked cars,
I mean, make sure you don't have sandals on.
And you know what? Try not to hit the glass.
I mean, because I don't know if you have insurance for pedestrian damage to a car.
That's all I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And dates are already expensive when you have a lady friend. You don't want to have to pay for the damage being done to a car because of the lady friend.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And we talked a little bit earlier. Okay. Well, sorry.
Keep going. Just keep going.
So it's better now?
Yeah. No.
Okay. No,
Sure.
not better now? Okay.
Whatever.
Well, hold on.
Whatever you want.
Bear with us. Oh, that's even worse. Bear with us.
Oh, that was
See,
live. I
that was
didn't realize
live.
that.
Okay. Sorry about that, my friend.
No, we're good.
We're good. So, Dean, we digress a little bit here. We're back.
Absolutely.
We're trying to make sure that we're good and seen for you, my friend. So anyway, back to this whole thing with the ladies. You know what I mean? Here's the thing. There are lots of things you can do on a date.
That's
Rubbing arms.
That's right.
I don't know if that should be the highlight of the night.
Well,
you could go. Well, that's fair. But you could also enjoy a nice musical concert. I mean, maybe you're thinking, I make music. I don't want to really listen to hear other people play music.
That's fair.
So maybe go bowling. Go to a movie.
Absolutely.
I mean, they got bowling alleys in Australia.
They sure do. And you know what? At those bowling alleys, I bet you could get a drink.
You could, but I got to tell you.
But try not to get drunk off of one sip.
No, man. I mean, we'll get you a shot glass if that's how you roll. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you should just taper it off just a little bit. If you're getting drunk off of one sip, I think maybe you should put it down. Trust me, unsweet iced tea with extra lemons, unsweet water. Unsweet water.
Regular water. I typically
water.
don't sweeten the water.
You put some lemon in it, though.
But it's not necessarily sweet.
You need like mineral water, tap water,
regular,
bottled water.
Regular old water.
Just regular
give me
water.
water.
H2O with
whatever
some
your
lemon.
choice. Dealer's choice on the water.
Dealer's choice. We enjoy. ourselves extremely just drinking water and unsweetened iced tea. Occasionally,
Absolutely.
a Coke Zero, the unofficial official soft drink that's diet of the Average Joes.
Okay.
Shout out to future sponsorships. I mean, we can make this happen. I mean, Coke loves to support artists, and why not support the Dean Lewis?
Why not?
You know what I mean?
Why
Maybe
not?
give him something
Absolutely.
to drink other than, maybe an alcoholic beverage that he's obviously getting drunk off of after just having a little bit.
What if you wanted the entire street out of town, just so you could be alone?
Ooh, I gotta tell you, Dean,
mean-
if you have to evacuate a population to ensure that you're getting attention from the woman that you're attracted to, I don't know if she's the one for you, bud.
Yeah, you might
I
want to
don't
go
know.
find someone else.
I think maybe I don't think it's gonna work out.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to be the person. I don't want to break your heart on this. You know what I mean? Because you tell us it'll be all right.
Yeah.
And we want to tell you it'll be all right.
That's right.
But like if you keep pursuing a girl that you got to evacuate a town on, chances are she's probably that same girl that you found your bud's smokes on the counter
Yeah.
because they'd been doing some stuff.
Well, listen, what if
You
you're
know?
spending all of your money just so you can hang out? That sounds like a gold digger to me.
A little bit.
I mean, if you're spending all your money, you only get to hang out like one time.
Well,
Because
he
then
probably
you don't
has.
have any more money.
And here's the thing: you're becoming more and more popular, Dean.
Yep.
You're growing in fame and probably growing in fortune.
That's right.
And it's important to invest your money. Okay, you got to
right.
think smart. Listen, next episode.
Yep.
We're gonna have Chris Moyer on,
Yep.
and he's a little bit of a financial planner.
Yeah, he is.
You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? And he could probably help you out with it. But I'm
right.
pretty sure Chris would tell you, don't spend all your money on the girls going out on dates.
That's right.
Right, Des? I mean, are you always looking for a big spender?
No.
No, see, Des likes quality time too, and you
That's
don't.
what I'm talking about right
Attention
there.
and commitment and interest does not always equate to the amount of money spent. No,
That's right. No, it does not.
Okay, so, I mean-
it's just pretty much a complex you're trying to compensate for, in my opinion.
I'm telling you.
Just saying.
And it's okay.
And
to
hey,
do-
Dean.
Hey,
Hey,
Dean.
Dean. There's nothing
Hey,
you
Dean.
need to compensate for, big dog.
Nothing, bud.
Nothing.
I mean, who doesn't want to be with Dean Lewis?
Average Joes, we want to be with Dean Lewis.
I'm saying in a
In
strictly
October.
platonic way.
Yeah, in October,
Strictly platonic.
in
way.
the Average Joe's
we
Media
just
Studio.
we just want to be friends.
Yeah, and
We want to be
podcast
best
together.
buds.
Maybe
You know what I mean?
record a
We-
little
we
bit.
want to be mates.
Yeah. I
You know
mean,
what I mean?
we're the
Have a
three
faucet.
best friends that anyone can have.
Yeah, that's great. We
I mean, I
gotta
appreciate the
gotta
Dean
practice
Lewis
on that.
interaction story, you know?
Yeah, we got to practice that
I mean,
a little bit.
I could have done that by myself, but I appreciate you trying to join in. You didn't know where I was going with that.
But
But,
here's the thing:
I mean,
if you're
clearly.
if you're watching yourself, watch her talk to other guys.
Yep.
I mean, here's the deal, dude. If she's wondering, she's wondering.
Now,
You know
I
what
will, Dean, I will tell you, if she's spacing in and out of her dresses, I'd want to be found by her too.
That's
If she's,
fair.
I mean, if she's spacing in and out, I would want to be found by that.
But
just saying.
but here's the thing. I mean, why is she kicking gutters in tight shorts? You know what I mean? And why is she out there doing all that stuff on the basketball courts?
If she's kicking gutters in tight shorts, Dean, maybe she is the one. I'm just saying.
Maybe she's not the one. I mean,
Maybe
if
she
she's
is.
doing that to
I
try
gotta
to
think
get
for
the
yoga
attention.
pants. I gotta think for yoga pants. I'm just saying.
Well, shout out to yoga pants.
Just
Shout
saying.
out to yoga pants.
Just
I mean,
saying.
they're comfortable and they're
Yeah.
convenient.
Yeah.
And sometimes fashionable. I mean, who
Yeah.
doesn't like a good jegging?
Yeah.
So, is that what they call it? Jeggings?
Sure.
Jeggings, right?
Yeah,
Jeggings?
just call
They're
it that.
leggings, but they look like denim.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
Japanese denim, maybe.
Japanese denim.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's
Ja-
a great
Japanese
sign.
jeggings.
Have you heard Japanese denim?
No.
You really should. And
Japanese jeggings.
yeah, Japanese jeggings. And so, Dean, that was a little loud.
That was terrible.
That was horrible. So, Dean,
Man, you
we're gonna let
redlined.
you listen. We're gonna let you listen to Japanese denim
Yeah.
when you come into town and you come to the studio. But again,
Absolutely.
I know that you're known as a right-hand slugger. That's great. I was a right-hand hitter too. Josh, you too.
Yeah, 100%.
We had that in common
Yeah.
amongst all these other things. But
Yeah.
but why do you want to go fighting people?
Yeah, Dean, and I want to tell you, hey,
It's
Dean,
not good,
I don't want
man.
to touch your lover.
I don't want to
No,
at all.
She's yours, man. She's
She's
all yours. dude.
but here's the thing:
Yeah.
if you're not all hers, you know what I mean. Then you really want to think about it. You know what I'm saying? Because you might not be okay with sharing.
Yep.
But if she wants to share herself, all the power to her. It's
Yeah.
2019. But we don't think this is good for you, man.
Yeah. No.
Because your heart's gonna break.
Yep.
You're gonna be sad.
Yep. Your head's gonna get heavy,
It's gonna get very
you
heavy.
know, and you're gonna adore her, but should you? Should you?
I don't
hey,
know.
Dean,
And
should
you're
you?
gonna press your head against her arm, and she probably gonna let you slip and fall, bud, because she's out there in those short shorts and those
Maybe.
tight shorts at the basketball courts. She's talking to other guys.
Yep.
And you're getting drunk off of a baby sip of a Foster's. It's not healthy, man.
It's not. It's not.
So-
Crikey.
Crikey, look at her walking
Look
in the
at her,
tight
mate.
shorts in the basketball courts.
Look at that gutter.
talking to the other boys.
She's kicking that gutter.
She's kicking the gutter. That was a little more British, but you know. Hey, you know what? Here's the
I
deal.
think people from Australia did come from England.
They did,
Yeah.
and just because it was originally said as a prison colony, I don't want you to think that we judge you because
No,
we
we don't.
don't.
We don't. Hey, Dean.
If anything, we
Hey,
adore
Dean,
you.
we adore you.
We adore you,
We
and
do.
we're not the kind of people that are going to treat you obviously like this lady friend did.
Yeah, obviously.
You don't have to evacuate a town to get the attention of the average Joes.
That's right. So, hey, Dean.
So, hey, Dean, bud.
Hey, Dean.
You
Hey,
know,
Dean.
let's do a
Hey,
little more.
Dean.
Hey, Dean. Let's try to pay a little more attention to who we're going after.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you know,
Have a bit of a filter.
a little bit of a filter. You know what I mean?
Filter these ones out
Yeah,
before you
I'm
say
gonna give you
yes.
something, some wonderful words of wisdom from a fine American gentleman. Sometimes in life, Dean, you got to know when to fold them. You got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to walk away. I think you got to know when to hold them, then fold them, then walk away.
Order's irrelevant.
It is irrelevant. These are principles. You just got to know when the dealing's done, my friend. You know, so we're here to help you. You know, just feel free to bounce some stuff off of us. You know, we'll give you some advice. We'll sound you out. And if we feel like, man, we really need to have a third perspective, we're going to call Des.
We are. 100%. Des, you down for that?
You know that? You want to help Dean Lewis out too, don't you?
Yeah.
You believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
She adores you too.
She does.
I mean,
And you know what? Maybe
she's
we'll
not
get your-
saying it, but you look at that look on her face.
That's
She
right.
does.
Maybe we'll get your opinion of women in professional sports. You
I
know,
mean, we'd love to hear it.
how about women in rugby? You know,
Ooh.
does that happen?
Ooh, or Australian rules football.
Well, okay, yeah, I feel like that's the same.
No, it's not actually. It's completely
Is
different.
it two different things?
And Dean, if you could, when you come on, maybe you can explain the difference to
Yes.
Joe Boo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Between
The
rugby,
average Joe Boo
Australian
does
rules
not know
football,
about the average Australian
and then
rules
football.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That sounds like a good plan.
I mean, I'm excited about
I'm
it.
down for that. Are you down for that?
I'm super down for
Okay,
it.
good.
You know what I mean?
So
And then we can also talk about our favorite episode of an old cartoon on the network, Boomerang.
just in case you needed a sound effect for the boomerang there.
I thought you were going to play.
All
We
of them.
also talked about this. Does this sound like a didgeridoo?
Maybe a little bit.
No, it doesn't. Okay. Well, anyways.
Apparently, drumsticks hitting together is part of the sound. Give me some didgeridoo.
I mean, we're like Australian beatboxers.
That's all I'm saying.
This is
That's what
happening,
I'm
Dean
saying.
Lewis.
This is going.
This is happening.
going down.
I feel like we're doing.
I'm yelling
nothing.
timber. You know what I mean?
And still, shout out to Timberland.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Timberland. We really need you to remix
really do.
our Hey Dean song, or even throw us a beat with some didgeridoo.
Hey Dean, don't make us sad.
Bow, wow, wow, wow. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Shout out to any of the DJs. We need to make this happen. Is there on Facebook? Does anyone know? We're gonna create a call here. Wow. A call to anybody who knows how to play a didgeridoo, or just if you have a didgeridoo, let us learn how to play it. This is gonna be amazing. There's a timetable because Dean's coming in October, and we want to be prepared. We want to take this last month in preparation before the great Dean's.
That's good stuff.
That's great
good
stuff. I mean,
man. I feel like I got another profession waiting on me.
I'm telling you what, you need to update your resume.
I really do.
I mean,
It's
this whole
happening.
high school teacher coach thing doesn't work
Yeah,
out.
I need Clippy. You know, the little Clippy guy on Microsoft Word that helps you make your resume.
Oh, I didn't know what you're doing. That's Clippy, and I was like,
Little Clippy, the little guy on
yeah,
the
I thought you
screen
were talking
that-
about a different clip, and I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? We're keeping it clean here.
That's fair.
Unless Dean, I don't know. So
That's right. I've heard it both ways.
there you go.
That's fair.
So that was fun. So,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Dean Lewis, shout out.
Shout out to the dean.
Shout out to the Dean.
The dean.
The Dean.
So Des,
The Dean.
So Des, as we wrap it up, first of all, we appreciate you being here. And
Thank you so much.
Thanks
First
for
of all,
having me.
we got to have a
Yeah.
picture for the wall. I
Okay.
do believe you're not up there yet, and so every new guest gets up on the wall, and we got to take that picture and get that printed out today. Okay.
Okay.
I
And
think
then,
she's beat Chris's record
Yeah.
of longest arrival to finish podcast time period. 'Cause
Absolutely.
We're at 4 hours.
Are we at 4 since she got
She's
here?
been here since for 4
She's
hours.
gonna get a good meal after
She
this.
really is.
She's hung out
She
with us.
really is.
And you know what? You eat as many pancakes or as many
Eggs, waffles,
French toast,
doesn't
sticks,
matter,
or whatever
you
you need.
blueberries.
And we will make sure it happens. We appreciate
We're
you.
going to ball out at Denny's.
That's
now.
right. We
We're gonna ball
appreciate
out.
you sticking with us for this long. You know, it
Yep.
seems like it's only been 2 hours 4 minutes, but in reality, it's been twice that.
And hopefully it hasn't been completely painful. And like when we cross each other in the hall on Tuesday, you'll actually look at me and
Yeah.
not completely like run the other way. Like why did I come hang
Yeah,
out?
please don't let him ask me again. No, please don't have that. I mean, just be like, yes, please ask.
I want to be back.
I want to be back on this show.
So much
This
fun.
was the greatest. Maybe we can have multiple guests and you just be one of those. And so
Yeah.
then you don't feel like you're here alone for 4 hours, you know?
Exactly.
You know?
Just watching.
Even
us
though
be-
there's 3 of us here, ultimately.
I mean, I think it's very entertaining watching the two of us banter, but my kids say it's cringy.
I mean, who could
So-
ask for anything more? Who could ask for anything more?
Hey.
Okay.
I mean,
Oh,
I don't
man.
know. I'm surprised we haven't locked this whole Dean Lewis thing up yet. I mean,
Well, you know, maybe he just can't commit yet.
maybe it's yet. I'd like to think
Yeah.
of it yet because I'm
Yeah.
thinking if I want to be successful and I'm an up and comer, I definitely want to get on this Average Joe's action because we're blowing up, baby.
We have to get on it. We have
And
to
you
get
know what makes Average Joe's media so relevant right now?
Yes. Us.
Why? What I really think is part of our trajectory.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, trajectory going upwards.
Yeah, what's that?
It's friends.
Yeah.
It's supporters.
Yep.
Hashtag support those you know. It's people who say, you know what? I really want to support Average Joe's. I want to partner with them because we
Yep.
love partners.
We sure do.
We love partners, and I can't think of a better partner
Yep.
than John Jacobus.
I can't either. You know,
We talk about having a
and
friend,
we like
John.
to reach out. We like to reach out.
Reach out.
We like to reach
Out.
And you know, sometimes we feel like our outreach is not nearly as far as it needs to be.
Not at all.
You know, so
we got to reach further.
Right.
Just am I
But-
right there?
but-
Reach further.
So John Jacobus.
John
The
Jacobus.
Gingrich Group,
Jaco himself.
the man, the myth, the legend.
I'm telling you what. He's you got a friend in John. We have a friend in John.
Yeah.
Like Des, for example, you've recently relocated to a new
Yep.
area. When you say to yourself, you know, I'm tired of this apartment living.
Yep.
I'm ready to put down some roots.
Yep.
I want a house. We need you to call John.
Here's the deal.
Because John's going to take care of you.
John's phone number, 972-754-0361. When we leave here, I'm going to need you to put that phone number, program it into your phone. And then
And the email address,
just-
John
yeah.
at gingrichgroup.com.
It's the Gingrich Group. John at the Gingrich
The
Group.
Gingrich Group.
dot
Yeah,
com.
yeah. It's like, you know, you have Ohio State and
Yep.
you have the Ohio State.
Absolutely.
Well, he's just not the Gingrich Group because who wants
So,
just
Desi, we're
two
going to need
names?
for you to
We're going
program that
the.
in and give him a call. John, what do I need to know if I want to buy a house? What do
How
I
can
need
you,
to know?
no, no. Well,
I need
yeah,
some
and
education.
How can you help me buy a house?
This John
John
guy,
wants to help you buy a house.
He
you know?
will make you. He will make you so educated in what you need. He will make sure you. You know what? He's not gonna like rush you.
Not at all.
You take your time. He wants you to be more comfortable than he is, 100%, which is what I want in a realtor.
It's what I want in anyone.
Yeah, well, that's fair. And my comfort,
Especially in a realtor.
especially in a realtor, he is
And in
going to
a
make
broker.
sure. That's right. He's going to make sure that what you're looking for is what you want. He's going to make sure that what you get is what you want.
He's not going to rush it.
Nope. He's going
Not
to
at
make.
all.
He's going to make it
and
happen.
You know what? And then later on, if you say to yourself, man, I have a house and I'd like to sell it.
Yep.
You know, John's going to be there. He's
Yep.
going to walk you through
Absolutely.
it. He's going to help take care and make sure that just like, you know, when your child goes off to graduate and leaves the house for the first time, whenever you sell, you give this home that you've created to someone else, John's going to walk you through it.
He really is.
And I can tell you what, if those two dreams coming true weren't big enough, John's not done.
No.
He's not done at all. John says, you know what, how else can I help give back to the world?
Yep.
How can I help make the world a better place? So John says, hey, if you're looking for a change in pace and you want to be able to earn a living helping other people's dreams come true, come over to the Gingrich Group.
Yep.
Let us help you be the best realtor on the face of the planet. Let this be a home for you to flourish,
Yep.
where it's about your success, not about making money off of
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely.
I want you to have a great home, just like the homes that he's selling and the homes that he's buying. John Jacobus, the Gingrich Group,
Yep.
making American dreams come true
Absolutely.
every day. And in the case of Dean Lewis, Australian dreams too.
That's fair. That's fair. You know, this has been a very eventful podcast.
It's been, I mean, I can't believe that we've been sitting here for 4 hours, let alone on the air for 2.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems
Is this a
just
new
like 30
thing?
minutes.
Is this a new thing for things you think you don't
know.
care about?
I don't know, but I got to tell you, the coolest thing happened.
Yeah.
One final thought.
Okay.
So I get a text message from Chris about which streaming service to switch to. And I couldn't figure out. I was talking to Josh, like, did you talk to him about me trying to switch it up? And then we remembered that we had this conversation in a 2-hour podcast a week before. So people are listening to the podcast and they're reaching out to us when they're listening.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're all in.
That's a good thing. It's all about the fan interaction.
It is.
It is. You know, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you have nothing to do, nothing to listen to, I think you are giving yourself you're a little short-sighted because you always have things you think you don't care about by the Average Joe's media.
I'm telling you.
We are located on all the major outlets: Facebook, Instagram.
Buzzsprout, Spotify,
That's right.
iHeartRadio,
Twitter, YouTube.
Twitter.
And then, ultimately, all you got to do is go to our homepage, Average Joe's Media, on Facebook. You'll have a link there that will show you all 18 or 20 different outlets you can listen to us. Now, all the different outlets will make you listen to the same thing, so you get to pick which one you want.
Yeah, or if you're banned from Facebook, like
Yeah.
say you had a falling out with Facebook,
Yeah, that's right.
and you can't use Facebook. If we know anybody like
I don't know
that,
if there's anybody like that,
you
but
can go to averagejosmedia.com, and there is actually a tab on the website that says how to find us, how to reach
right.
out to us.
That's absolutely right.
And then you'll be able to see that same link, and it'll literally take your hand and it'll walk you to all the different places we're at to help you subscribe,
That's
help
right.
you watch, help you listen,
Yep,
help
absolutely.
you like.
Well, Des, again, thank you very much. We appreciate
Thank you very much, Des.
And until next time, I'm the Average Joe Boo,
I'm the Average Joe.
telling you to keep it clean.
Yeah, you're listening to the Average Joe's, things you think you don't care about. It's America's fastest growing podcast, so just sit back and relax. We got the Average Joe Boo and the Average Joe. We got the mic set up in the studio. Gonna entertain ya, nobody can blame ya. Spending all of your time listening to the Average Joes. We're gonna talk about something that you think you don't care about. We're gonna talk about something that you think you don't care about.